Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Hurry Up. I'm your boy Adam. I know it says the Hurry Up featuring Jeffy T. Well, I don't know what he's doing. Probably still sleeping. So in comes his backup or the new star quarterback, AK Eagles. AK, how you doing today? How is everything?
Doing good, man. Enjoying this nice morning. It's not too hot out. My son's outside playing, so figured I'd just chill outside here and talk some football while he enjoys the nice morning. How about you, bud?
Exactly. The nice morning, beautiful day. If you're on the East Coast, there was a heat wave going on. Yo nuts were sweating for days, and finally it broke. So today, I know we've been on a couple days in a row. It seems like people are eating up the content. So, we give the people what they want. AK so graciously kind of stoked the fire, saying, "Hey, man, let's go live. It's preseason football time. Let's just get it out there, get some content going." So I'll have AK lead off for you. So AK, what do you want to start with first on this NFL preseason morning?
Well, we can either start off with what I talked about backstage, or we can start off with the your preseason matchup tonight. Giants and.
Well, how about we'll talk about Chicago. You mentioned if you guys don't know, backstage quickly we had a quick discussion on a topic that came up, and it's about Justin Fields and the Bears. And I'll let AK kind of paint the picture for you, and we'll go from there. Please join us in the chat with any of your comments.
Yeah, no lie, man. I found it funny. I saw a tweet he put out where he was pretty much stating that all the talent there in Chicago doesn't even compare to the talent he had at Ohio State, which was pretty much saying like his wide receivers are shit. But I found it really, really hysterical, man, because that quarterbacks normally don't do that. So,
I hear you on that. So my thing is this: I wouldn't say that if I was Justin Fields. I heard a couple weeks ago from people that he went to an autograph signing and was very over the top, very asshole-ish and things like this. Justin, I backed you for a while, but it seems like you're a little bit arrogant, more so than like a Kyler Murray. He needs to shut the heck up. I was another four-letter word, but there could be children watching. But, he needs to shut up and play some football. Be a freaking leader. Be a fucking leader and just shut up. Okay? Just shut up and play some football. You haven't done anything in this league to warrant anything to say that. Now, I get it. Your college guys may be good, and you played at Ohio State, big school. Of course, they're going to be NFL-worthy players. You had what? Chris Olave to throw to and freaking Garrett Wilson? I mean, give me a break. You're sitting here talking about your receivers. How about you do something in the NFL? You did nothing last year, and you're on your way to doing nothing this year and being out the league and playing for the USFL New Jersey Generals.
Well, see, and that's what sucks, man, because, I actually said that Justin Fields is going to be better than Trevor Lawrence last year. Or wait, no, not Trevor Lawrence. Sorry, he was going to no. The bet was Justin Fields was going to be better than Mac Jones if he started week 1. If he was a full year starter, and I made that bet with I think it was Boys for Life, but it never came to fruition because he never did start right away, and I was pretty upset because he does have all the talent in the world, dude. Like, in all honesty, if any quarterback can break the curse of Ohio State quarterbacks not making it in the NFL, it should have been Justin Fields, and it should be. Because he is talented. But talking like that, dude, that's not going to get your team to rally around you.
Well, the worst is you put it on Twitter, which means you're a coward.
Yeah, like that. And secondly, when your wide receivers see that, bro, they're like, fuck that guy. Like,
yeah, why am I going to go for a ball? Why don't I, why am I going to run the correct route? I know that, I feel you, but, we know some receivers are going to do what they're going to do because they know that the league is not for long. So they're going to play because they're going to play.
Yeah.
But if I'm the wide receivers, I go to the offensive line and I go, listen, bro, do you really want to block for this guy? Like, this guy all he does is bash us. What do you think he's going to do to you when you don't block? And let's be honest. The 1980s, 1990s, guys would be crushed by the line. You won't know because, they're going to keep that in-house. But I wouldn't be surprised if he pisses somebody off in that locker room and one of his boys goes, you know what? There's Khalil Mack on the other side. You're talking a lot of shit. You know, maybe Khalil Mack will take you out. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, you don't want to ever have Josh's team.
Maybe I'll just sidestep my block accidentally for a second.
yeah, exactly. And then I'd rather get yelled at on film the next day and see him grimacing in pain in the backup quarterback.
Right?
Sorry, coach.
Be like, my bad, dude. I thought I was supposed to go right. I was
sorry.
You know,
my mistake.
ME,
chalk it up to an ME. Now, if I get fired, all right. Well, you know, integrity is integrity, man. You're not going to come out here and want me to protect you and then go badmouth me, especially in public. You want to badmouth me? Do it in house. That's what you do with your family. You know, you don't take your family drama out into the public. You just don't do it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Especially if it's not something egregious. I mean,
like you said, bro, it's not like you're fucking Pat Mahomes and you're out here and done something fantastic at a young age. You haven't done shit yet. You have no voice, man.
Image is everything. I mean, look at Frank Gore right now. Right? We were talking about him being a Hall of Famer, and he's in trouble for domestic violence now. And that changes the whole narrative. One thing in the limelight. You know what I'm saying? That's worse than what Fields is doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so get over. You know what you could do if you were a winning player? You know what I mean? This guy reminds me of Jake, or maybe it is it me? Or maybe it's the Chicago Warrior. They get quarterbacks who are just arrogant assholes. I know they threw in Frank Gore there, and people are like, why? I'm just saying, people are be in the news. If you're going to be in the news, you know, do something crazy. Don't do something like this where you're bad-mouthing your teammates, okay? Unnecessary drama that you're bringing to a team that's trying to find themselves.
Like, and no lie, bro. I got to say, he's not saying anything that we all don't already know.
Right.
You know, like, oh, what the hell? Oh,
Jeff, what is that? Your grandpa's helmet? My God. We're the Aints. We're the Aints. They're definitely right. We're the Ants.
Hey, I've had this thing since I was like 3 years old. I got this thing at a Giants training camp when I was young. So I don't care how old it is. This thing is important. And anytime the Giants are playing, this baby comes out all the time right next to me during the game. So just got to show off the merchandise. Got to show off what happens when game day comes with the Giants. So what's going on, guys?
What's up, buddy? But
and here comes the fiery Jeff.
I mean, listen, there's nothing that he said that isn't true. We understand that. Oh, there's two of me. Woohoo! But here's the thing:
it's like the double mink show.
You are the teammate of these guys. You don't say that shit. You know, we understand that there is probably no hope for the Bears because, in all honesty, their team is not good. I mean, Mooney is the only wide receiver that he's really got, you know, but dude, you don't say that because you're a player of that team. You know, that's not your job to say.
Right. And I think, Jeff, to catch you up, we're talking about Justin Fields tweeting that his receivers are caca on Twitter. And we're just talking about how if you're the leader of the franchise, you shouldn't be doing this. Now, my question is, do you think the coach or the GM should kind of be in his ear hole and be like, listen, bro, you know, I know that we're not, you know, perfect, but, you know, can you not put the tweets on there about
this?
Is
it worth to say maybe find him?
I mean, I wouldn't make it public. I wouldn't make it public though, because you know right now the problem is right now it seems like it's very pro player, no matter what the discipline is, right? I mean, you look at how Deshaun Watson's being handled. You see how a lot of other things are being in the media with players. With Kyler Murray, like that whole thing. Oh, I mean, you know, like it's one of those things where if I'm him, I would find him silently. And he's like, if you go public, then we're going to find you again. And we're just going to keep doing it until you either learn your lesson. And the Bears right now have no option right now. Because right now, the quarterbacks that they're probably going to look at our next quarterback class. Because right now, I'm dumping him. I'm dumping him. The new regime came in, and I'm going to Josh Rosen his ass out of here. Right now, that may be good for Justin Fields. Maybe that'll change the scenery, or a team like an established team like Pittsburgh. I know Pittsburgh doesn't need a quarterback, but I'm just using them as an established team. Maybe they come calling, you know, and say, "Hey, we're a quarterback away. We're ready made. Here you come in." But I really don't think coming to receiving core is a good thing.
So I don't mean to be like, but what exactly happened with Justin Fields? I didn't hear the news about what exactly happened with the Bears and Justin Fields this morning.
I just said it. He
No,
called
but
you were too
go
busy
ahead.
rubbing the helmet to be listening to me. So what happened was Justin Fields tweeted out that his receivers aren't as good as his receiving core in Ohio State, right? And basically calling them out as not being very good. And we're here talking about this drama for your mama with Justin Fields and how it pertains to his team and him going forward.
Why can't a player just be honest about something without always getting incredible backlash? I mean, is it really that wrong that he said that? Yeah, it might not look good in Chicago, but at the same time, he's just being honest. And it should motivate those receivers out there to prove them and be like, you know what? You say that we suck, we're going to go out there and prove that we don't suck. And maybe you're the problem instead of us. So,
Wow, I didn't see that coming.
I mean,
he kind of floored me too. I'm like, oh wow.
Remember, we have talked about how these players should be more honest about things, and everybody should be more honest about stuff. You know what? I kind of appreciate that he was a little bit honest about it. I do.
Yeah.
I actually appreciate the fact that Justin Fields went out there and was honest.
Fair point.
And should motivate those receivers to go out there and prove him wrong.
All right. Well, I mean, I look at it like this. To me, we know we suck. I'm not saying go out there and say, hey, I had the best receiving core since sliced bread. All I'm saying is like, I would have just been like, our team is not where it needs to be. Something where you're honest, but you're not throwing a certain group under the bus. Hey, the offense needs a little work. That's, to me, is honesty, yet not like throwing things specifically out there. So I think you can mask the honesty without being, just like, hey, well, we're flat out sucks. Because I know that if somebody told me flat out suck, we're going to have words. And I'd rather have those words with you behind closed doors where you can say, hey, listen, man, you need to pick it up because, I got receivers in college that were better than you. All right. But now you put it on blast where either if I fail, he's right, I look like an asshole and I might be out the league. Or if I do well, how does that make him look? He's going to get the bag, but I'm the one fucking doing all the work.
Oh, it's a freaking mess over there in Chicago. I mean, is anybody
I'm just
really
saying, you're the leader of the franchise. I don't need you calling out a specific group. What if he called out the offensive lineman? And the offensive line, he's like, I got the worst offensive line in fucking football. You know what they're going to do? They're not going to want to block for you. You just called me the shittiest offensive. If it's true, maybe not put it on Twitter. Maybe look what Odell Beckham did. Odell Beckham Jr. didn't tell you anything bad in that interview with fucking whatever her name was, the ratchet from ESPN, right? Josina Anderson, right?
Yeah, and Lil Wayne.
And Lil Wayne, he said he didn't like being in New York. That was honest. Okay, get out of here then. And then he said that my quarterback, I'm not getting the ball enough. So basically he was honest and we knew that. But the way it came out and was conveyed is not something you want to do. If he came out and Freudian slipped in an interview saying, hey, it's not the best O-line that we've played with ever, I can see it happening. But when you do something and you put it on Twitter, you want people to see it. And a lot of people are going to see it. And there's going to be a lot of followers with him, in the NFL community. I know no one's talking about it probably now. But to me, it just rubs me the wrong way if I was, if I was a receiver.
Well, yeah, for somebody like Justin Fields, who pretty much has done nothing in the league except play 1 year. If this was a more established veteran that said it, maybe it would be a little bit different.
If that was Aaron Rodgers, I wouldn't care.
Yeah, if it was like an Aaron Rodgers or even like another established quarterback in the league, but Justin Fields, he's done jack in the league. He's had a bad first season. He's going in his second year. A lot of question marks. New regime. He really shouldn't be saying anything. I mean, I don't mind his honesty because, it's nice to hear some honesty from NFL players nowadays instead of like saying they plead the fifth. But at the same time, what has Justin Fields really done, too, to really say something like that, especially throwing it on Twitter? So it's like it's a double-edged sword in a way.
But I think that's
somebody like Justin Fields to say it.
I think that's the point we need to address is that he had no leg to stand on because you did nothing last year. It wasn't us who's fumbling the ball, turning that shit over. I ran my route, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. You can't just I can't just let a guy who's done nothing. That's like Daniel Jones calling out the offensive line. Like, bro, you had 18 turnovers in the first season. Don't be calling me out. You want to call somebody out, call yourself out. If he came around and said, man, I haven't played this good or made a self-inflicted like comment, I'd be like, all right, cool, man. He's just, kind of feeling bad. You've done nothing in the league, and you still done nothing. You're barely holding on to your job, and you're going to call out the receiving corps? Give me a break. Just give me a break.
I take Darnell Mooney right now over Justin Fields. I think Mooney's actually a pretty solid receiver in the league. Not great, but he's solid. At least he's done something. What has Justin Fields done? That's the only problem I have with it is that's the wrong type of player throwing that out there on Twitter who hasn't done jack shit so far in the NFL. My apologies for the cursing, but just saying. Man, this is like Joe Burrow that went out there and said that last year. I'm not saying he would, but I mean, like that was something like Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert or some of these other quarterbacks that have actually done something in this league. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to do that because the perception coming off, especially if you throw it on Twitter, is not positive. But at the same time, I mean, I actually don't mind, in a weird way, I don't mind a player being honest and be like, you know what? My players just don't cut it, and I thought I had it better in college than I did in the pros. That I don't mind. It's just the wrong player said it, and he put it on the wrong platform. We haven't done anything.
But you said, right. I get the honesty part, and I accept that, and I'll actually agree with you there to a certain extent. But if you've done nothing, you have no trophy, no ring, nothing to show for it, not even the great, rookie season of all time. You struggled mightily, and then you have the audacity to call somebody out when you've done nothing. In the league so far is kind of like flabbergasting to me. It's not, like I said, if it were Derek Carr and he was like, before they got Devontae Adams saying, hey, I had better players playing in college, I could be like, all right, that's a little arrogant, but hey, that's fine. The NFL is, the worst guy is better than the worst guy on your college team. You know what I mean? And let's be honest, he played with Chris Olave. He played with Garrett Wilson. He played with the receiver that came out before him the year before. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I get it. You want to talk shit, but at the same time, you've never done nothing in the league. And to me, I take credible sources. I take a guy like Aaron Rodgers or, a guy like Tom Brady or, another big name like a Russell Wilson coming out and saying, hey, we don't have a bad receiving corps. When you're Justin Fields, and I've heard that you've been an asshole at autograph signings, that you've been a jerk around your own area, that this doesn't surprise me with your behavior. And then on top of that, if I already know certain things like that, why am I going to go out and now extend myself to catching a pass for you? But, if you throw an incomplete pass, you're going to blame me. Well, my receiving corps is not as good as college. That's your fallback excuse every time that you're going to make a mistake. Absolutely not. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, right here, too. Remember we always talk about that catchphrase of, like, you're playing yourself off the team? Justin Fields right now saying what he's saying right now and the actions that he's displaying right now on and off the field, it might not be like, egregious, like way too egregious, but he's playing himself off the Chicago Bears going into 2023. And like we mentioned before, this quarterback class could potentially be rich with players, new regime coming in. Justin Fields is probably, if he doesn't go out there and have a good season and convince this coaching staff and this front office that he can be the guy going forward, the Chicago Bears will get themselves a franchise quarterback in 2023, and Justin Fields will be out of here. It's just playing his day right now. He's got to go out there and prove that he can be the franchise guy if he's going to go out there and throw his wide receiver core under the bus. And it doesn't matter what you did in college. Nobody cares about what you did in college.
If he did that if he was
NFL now.
If he was the quarterback in New York right now, okay, and we traded places with him and Daniel Jones.
Oh my God, he get roasted all over the place if he said that.
Exactly. My point is exactly right. If he came in here and was like Kadarius Stoney stinks, and I've had better receivers in college and better offensive line, the media would make his life miserable. They wouldn't let him live it. They'd ask the receiver. They'd ask the bus boy. They'd ask, the offensive lineman. This would not go away. And if I'm a beat reporter in Chicago and I'm trying to incoming, I'm going to Pat Leonard that shit. I'm going to Pat Leonard the shit out of that. I'm going to ask the inappropriate question at the inappropriate time every day until I get an answer or somebody gets riled up, because that's what it's like to me. You don't want to be here. You just go as a professional and you tell your boss, hey, this is not the right fit for me. Can you seek me for a trade? I'll give you the best of me, but can we seek a trade? Because then I would have been like, all right, bet, I'm out. You know, if you didn't want to be here, they could have traded you during the draft. There was plenty of teams that wanted quarterbacks that would easily pick you up in your rookie deal. You know what I'm saying? You have a rookie deal. That's it. That's what it is.
They're going to evaluate him this year. They're going to give him an evaluation this year and see what he can do. If he could back up his talk.
I'm tired of these evaluations. Just have balls and just get rid of somebody. I know.
Because they always want to. We always say that everybody shouldn't have these evaluations and stuff, but they always do that because they don't want to worry about, we let so-and-so go, he went to this place, and he's starting to succeed, and we look foolish now because we let him go. That's the reason why these teams do that, and that's the reason why these teams go through the quote-unquote evaluations, because they're afraid of letting this guy go, and then he goes off to succeed somewhere else, and they hear the backlash for the fan base. Be like, why did you let this guy go? Why didn't you give him another chance? That's why they do it. They're afraid to let guys that they drafted go because they want to give them a full opportunity, and that's what they're going to give a guy like Justin Fields, fair or not.
Jeff, they have your helmet on NFL Network right now.
Oh, good. You know what?
They have questions like blind the test questions. I can't read what they're saying, but I think they said that the Giants will be this year's Bengals. I think that the Lions will be this year's Bengals. No, they're not going to be this year's Bengals. They're going to be good. They're not going to be this year's Bengals. But yeah, let's
Giants?
move on. No, they said the Lions will be this year's Bengals team to make it to the Super Bowl. That's what the question is. I don't think that's correct at all. But we can get into that. I have another topic I want to bring up. I don't know if AK is still around. He might be chasing his son outside. Hopefully everything's all right. But I'm done talking about Justin. I'm done with Justin Fields. I think he's an idiot. I think he's going to fail this season, and I don't think he's going to be with the Bears. He'll probably be traded somewhere. But let's talk about another team that I'm intrigued by and has their own quarterback competition going on, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. So far, Mike Tomlin said that he would name Mitchell Trubisky as a starter. Do you like this move? Even though Kenny Pickett's kind of working his way up, do you like this move? Is this something that you're intrigued by, or do you think that just being nice and Kenny Pickett will eventually be the starter sooner rather than later?
Well, I mean, the latest report that I heard is that apparently Trubisky's turning heads right now in training camp, and he's actually looking pretty solid over there in Pittsburgh. So they obviously must believe that Trubisky maybe is going to have one of those turnaround seasons, and under a coach like Mike Tomlin, maybe he can get the most out of this kid, not just out of his all around his playmaking ability, but maybe mentally they're going to try to be able to get those whatever's bothering him and what's been in his head for all these years. And somebody like Mike Tomlin could be the guy that can try to get all those negative vibes and those negative aspects out of his head and just let this kid go out there and use his natural ability to go play. So I think they're going to give Trubisky as much time as possible to see what he can do this year, especially with Pittsburgh sort of in that transitional year on the quarterback position. I think they're going to want to try to give Pickett as much time as possible to learn the offense, learn the NFL, learn the playbook and everything before they throw him out there. Unless either Trubisky and I think Pickett's the third string quarterback on that team right now. So
I think it's one. He's Trubisky, and then it's 2A and 2B. Basically, they're both second string.
Mason Rudolph.
Right.
I think they're going to give Trubisky as much leash as they can just to see what they can get out of this kid, since they did sign him to a 2-year deal. And unless he just absolutely just looks horrible out there on the field during the season or he gets hurt, then I think they might throw out Pickett, but I'm not sure. They might just want to try to redshirt this kid all through the season, or maybe throw him in there towards like the middle or towards the end of the season. I don't know how they feel about Pickett. I'm not sure how he's doing in training camp, if he's looking good, if he's looking so-so. But I think they're going to ride out Trubisky throughout most of this year and see what they can get out of him, since they did sign him to that contract. And unless he just is horrendous during the season, I don't think we're going to see Pickett anytime soon. Maybe towards like the middle of the end of the season, depending on how Trubisky's playing and how the Pittsburgh Steelers look this year.
Well, I do think Trubisky, will get that first, and like you said, it will be what they're doing. If they're in playoff contention, he's probably not going to do that. But what that allows you to do is trade your receiver, right? I think they might trade Mason Rudolph during the season right now or in training camp, and then maybe next offseason trade Trubisky away if he does well, because I think that He came in, like apparently there's a rumor going around. I don't know how true it is. Don't coming from the source, but there's a big rumor saying that the Giants were trying to make a real hard push for Mitchell Trubisky, like a serious push. And one of the factors was competition for the starting job. And I think that's the reason why you see Trubisky in Pittsburgh, because he has a better opportunity to start and reestablish his value. However, I don't think they knew Kenny Pickett was going to fall to them. So when Kenny Pickett did fall to them, they got their insurance plan behind it because they don't have a long-term plan. And the next year, if you decide to start Pickett, Trubisky becomes a solid backup as well. You're not breaking the cap for him. So it's a brilliant move by them. A move I see when Trubisky did it. I think he's regretting the decision, but right now he's like, I'm in the decision that I made. I'm just going to make the best of it. And if he establishes Pittsburgh to be a playoff contender and possibly, dare I say, Super Bowl contender, there will be people bidding for his service next year.
I mean, there's no reason to think Pittsburgh couldn't be a playoff team. I mean, I did pick them last in the division because I just think the other teams right now did a lot more, and Cleveland's really the wild card depending on what happens with Deshaun Watson. But Pittsburgh still got a terrific defense. I mean, Mike Thomas still got a terrific defense over there, and Pittsburgh does have a nice set of playmakers over there on their offensive side with them signing Deontay Johnson to a long-term deal. They got Chris Claypool, and then they just drafted George Pickens, who some experts are saying could be one of the breakout wide receivers this year. And obviously, most of us think Najee Harris is going to take a big step forward in his second year as a running back. He's going to establish himself as one of the better running backs in this league. And then Pat Fryermuth is a pretty solid tight end, seeing what he could do in his second year in the NFL. So the players are there for Trubisky. It's all about just him not falling on his face and just being able to go out there, not exactly be a game manager, but just be able to go out there and take advantage of the one-on-one opportunities when they present themselves with his receivers or tight end, and just be able to make the throws and not make those consistent mistakes that he's done previously with Chicago and with Buffalo when he was over there as a backup. So I think Trubisky's got a chance to succeed. It's just really about him not falling on his face completely and pretty much gift-wrapping Kenny Pickett the chance to be the quarterback sometime during this season. But I'm curious to see how Trubisky's going to do this year, and a lot will depend on how the Pittsburgh Steelers do if we see Kenny Pickett at all this year.
I hear you on that one, but we'll see. I'm intrigued by it because it's one of those things where did they just pull a Kansas City?
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible they could maybe sit Pickett.
Well, they drafted their guy, and now they also had an incumbent starter coming in, right? So, Alex Smith was there. They drafted Mahomes. Then he got a couple reps in a game, and then kind of, this is what we got.
Well, if you're Mike Tomlin right now, would you sit Kenny Pickett for a full year, give him at least a redshirt season, let him learn the NFL, or would you want to see this kid play in his rookie year because he is a first-round pick?
I'd want to see him play, but not what I'm saying is this. I'm not going to force the issue if I don't have to.
I think a lot's going to depend on how Pittsburgh does this year. If they come out and look really good this year, I think they're going to stick with Trubisky as long as possible. If they come out sluggish and they start playing under 500 football and Trubisky's just not getting the job done, you're probably going to see Pickett a lot sooner than,
I think he'll have a clipboard because you can't. He's the 24th overall pick or 20th pick or whatever it was.
Yeah.
You cannot just sit him there and be like, oh, we're not going to play you. You got to act like he could possibly win the job. Mason Rudolph, what he can do. There's a reason why he's not the starter of this football team.
I apologize, guys. I had a business call I had to take.
Big time.
Big time over here. Big time AK.
No, not like that. Not like that.
I'm just kidding, man. We're just busting your chops. No, yeah. But seriously, Trubisky I think will be the starter, but I think Kenny Pickett has a good chance of being, like you said, Jeff. If they're doing well, it's a win-win for them. They have their backup quarterback who can learn under Trubisky, but if he's definitely got to get turned in there now.
God, I came back at the perfect time.
Because the thing is this, Trubisky, if they have a blowout win, you can play Pickett the second half. Let's say they're beating, I don't know. Let's say the Lions have a down game, and Pittsburgh's really taking it to them. And there's a couple minutes left in the fourth quarter, and you know you're going to win the game handily, that's where you put in Kenny and kind of give him some throws and some reps that way to build up his confidence. But if this team is a show, you're going to see Kenny Pickett.
Absolutely.
Dude.
Absolutely.
First off, I love that we're on this conversation and I come back to this because I have been saying it all year long. God, I pray to God I'm right, because if I am looking like a genius. Michael Trubisky is going to be amazing for this offense. He is going to flourish in this offense. I understand that they did get Kenny Pickett, but you have to look at Trubisky, man. And look at Big Ben when he first came in. They are built the same. They act the same. They throw the same. Hell, even Big Ben could scramble a little bit and get away when he was young. You know, he could escape the pocket when he had to. That's exactly what Trubisky can do. You know, half the time the Bears wouldn't have been in the playoffs if it wasn't for Trubisky. In fact, he saved his head coach many of times. He doesn't get enough credit that he deserves. And I'm telling you, man, I believe Trubisky is going to take off in this offense. Mike Tomlin is just the coach to grab him and take him where he needs to go.
And that's what we're saying.
I don't even know if they need Kenny Pickett.
Well, that's what we're saying is like they lucked into their quarterback, in the draft because they had no idea they were going to get Kenny, right? So they signed Mitchell Trubisky saying, well, we know what Mason Rudolph is. We're going to bring in Mitchell Trubisky, right? And they signed him to a deal that is kind of friendly for them. Their laps. I'm saying if he does well, it only exponentially grows the value of Trubisky. He's going to be under a system with Pittsburgh. They'll either extend him or trade him. He'll get whatever team he wants if he wants to be traded because his cap number is so low that he can go to, I don't know, let's say the Texans. I'm just using a team hypothetically speaking. Don't like Davis Mills, and they did okay. They won 7 or 8 games, and they're like, well, Mitchell had this great season. We can really work with it. Maybe Pittsburgh trades him because they already have a quarterback lined up who they spent draft capital for. They're not going to get rid of him without seeing him, right? So you put in Kenny Pickett. Now you have a valuable asset to trade Trubisky. I think it's a win-win for Pittsburgh.
You look at that team. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you look at the team, bro, that he has, Trubisky. He has Najee Harris. He's never had a Najee. Okay? He's never had a Pat Freiermuth. He's never had a Pickens. He's never had a fucking Claypool. He's never, I don't even, or
Johnson, don't forget about
Johnson. Yeah, Johnson. I was about to say that who's their third? Johnson, right? Yeah.
He's the number one, I think, right now.
Oh well, yeah, that's true. But I mean, even still, that makes it even worse. None of these guys he's ever had to work with before.
No.
In Chicago, he's never had anything like this. And you saw what he did in Chicago. So how could you only think that this kid is not going to be better? This is a far better team than what he's ever had.
How's his offensive line? Are the Pittsburgh Steelers I don't know about their offensive line.
They're young. They're young. They were listen. They had to get rid of Villanueva. They had to get rid of Pouncey and all them. So they did lose a little bit, but the young guys stepped up. They do their Pittsburgh people do their job in Pittsburgh somehow, some way. Like I said, Mike Tomlin has never had a losing record ever.
Coached incredibly well. That's why they do well all the time because Mike
Tomlin
is disciplined and they're coached incredibly well all around.
Exactly. So they're going in their second year. I only assume they're going to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we talk about this all the time. Pittsburgh hasn't missed the playoffs in Tomlinson's career there, which is incredible when you think about it. And Mitchell Trubisky could do one of two things. He could have a bad season and get punted, which no one would be ashamed of because they have the excuse to do that, right? They drafted a quarterback. Or what he'll do is reestablish his value in a team that doesn't have to have much going on for it. I mean, they have a solid defense, right? They had the defensive player of the year on their team, TJ Watt. Hello. Right? They have Micah Fitzpatrick. He's pretty good. And then you have their offense, whoever receiver they just extended. They have Chase Claypool as well. And I just think that if Trubisky can tread water, because apparently going to that Buffalo system helped him, right? That's why I think a lot of people like what this guy could do. But I think AK is right. I think Trubisky has more talent than some of these guys that we're talking about. I think he has more talent than Daniel Jones. The difference is that he went to a different franchise, different things. Now I heard from people around the internet that he couldn't have the TVs on because he couldn't deal with criticism. Well, now I think he might have matured a little more. Let's see what he can do. Because in Pittsburgh, they're going to come at your ass.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're not afraid of you. Those faithful are faithful, but they'll let you know, like, hey man, you stink.
And I will tell you this, man. I got a lot of Pittsburgh Steeler friends who have been talking, and dude, a lot of them are really intrigued on Trubisky. Like they actually like that pickup. Okay, so he's got people that are backing him there, and I will go as far to saying, and if you don't agree, please disagree with me, but I will go as far to saying as Trubisky will have a year like Ryan Tannehill did when he came into the Titans.
Well, okay, I think one thing that's going to help out a guy like Trubisky the most is the fact he's got a head coach like Mike Tomlin that tells it how it is, and he's going to get that kid disciplined, and he's going to make sure he's going to get whatever's in his head. Because I think that's the biggest problem with Trubisky is everything going on in his head. It's all mentally with him. I think his skills are not that bad. He's not a terrible quarterback. It's just it's all mental with him. I think if there's any coach that can get those mental issues out of his head when it comes to making those mistakes, it's somebody like Mike Tomlin. So I think he actually landed in the perfect place to try to get the most out of him with having a head coach like Mike Tomlin over there.
I think he's had a good two couple seasons too, right? You land in Buffalo, you're not the starter. You learn under Josh Allen, right? And Brian Daboll. You people they love you in Buffalo so much so they wanted to make you the backup quarterback again. But of course, you wanted to take your time, right? You wanted to be a starter. Wow, the two defensive ends of the two groups of defensive ends that are showing on the network has like Hall of Famer. Khalil Mack, Nick Bosa, or Joey Bosa, forget which one. Max Crosby and Chandler Jones. We'll get into that in a second because that's going to be a good topic to talk about. But to finish this Trubisky thing, you're right, Jeff. I just think he's in a perfect situation. He doesn't have to do too much, right? Tomlin's not going to be like, hey, play above your physical capabilities. They're going to be like, hey, this is what you do well. Stick to it. Just keep us in short third and longs, score touchdowns with your feet if you need to, and keep the chains moving. Because I'm a Super Bowl contender, but they're still in the playoff hunt with Trubisky.
Because no lie, dude, what did Pittsburgh do with Ben the last 2 years? Dude, he was releasing that ball in 2.3 seconds? It was quick releases all the time. They're going to do the same thing with Trubisky. The same thing. It's going to be get the ball in your hands, get it out. But the difference is Trubisky's arm won't die halfway through the season like Ben's did.
Right.
Ben held that team back the last 2 years.
He did.
Yes, I do agree with you. I think he was holding on. He should have probably said hung it up, but he had a lot of injuries that they were trying to mask. Age catches some guys, especially guys who aren't in shape like Ben Roethlisberger. Didn't look like he put a cheeseburger down or anything like that. I'm just saying, no, it's slight on him, but it just. He got beat up. That's why I tell people about running quarterbacks, man. You're safest in the pocket. The quarterback that did it the longest is a vegan and also stays in the pocket. And that's Tom Brady. Okay? So what happens when you run? You become, Ben Roethlisberger. You're a shell of yourself.
Got beaten up a lot over the years.
Got beaten up. And he was a big dude. He was like Cam Newton, right? Cam Newton the same way. Like Cam Newton's like, oh, why don't they call things? Because the opposite happened.
Well, and remember, guys,
too, and he got beaten up a lot as well. But that guy was like a similar quarterback to what Ben Roethlisberger was, a big quarterback that could run.
Yeah, but also remember, this man also had a motorcycle accident without a helmet on and took a shot to the fucking head as well.
Right. So that could have slowed something like that. The thing about it though is like you look at those guys like you're talking about McNair and everything. It doesn't benefit them to run because guess what? The NFL is not going to protect you because you're 200-something pounds running guys over with stiff arms, stepping on their chest as you walk by them. And then what do you think is going to happen when they have their chance? They're going to light you up. And if they happen to do it when you're sliding this time, how are they going it's like it's a catch-22 with some of these guys. That's why
No, you're 100% right, bro. Because in all honesty, when you look at these guys like Tom Brady and some of these guys, they'll get the flags instantly. But then you look at a guy like Big Ben, who is a huge body. Like, dude, it took 3 men to take him down sometimes. He didn't get the flag right away. They're biased on who they throw their flags on and who they don't. They do. They know who can take the pain and who don't.
The one guy I actually worry about when it comes to that type of style is a guy like Josh Allen, who runs a lot. They do a lot of design runs for Josh Allen. He's another quarterback.
I think that changes with the addition of Cook. I think that changes because I think Josh Allen.
Sure they can't run that guy. They cannot run him. They have to try to maintain his health because over the years he's going to start developing what Ben Roethlisberger and some of these other big quarterbacks had. Is they're going to start, dealing with these little minor nicks and bruises all over the place because of the amount of hits they've taken every year. I'm sorry, go ahead, Adam.
Well, I agree with you, and I think like the same thing was being said is like when you build a team like Josh Allen, I think what happens with them is they had to rely on the run because their running backs were caca, right? They didn't strike fear into anybody, so they didn't want to do it. This year, I think they're going to rely on the run because that's what they needed to win the game against Kansas City. Not score in 3 seconds. You needed a long, sustained drive so that you could take some time off the clock, and I think it's going to help them this year going forward having I wouldn't say a feature back, but a guy that's more reliable than the two that they have. And I think that's another reason why I don't like this offense for Daniel Jones, because a guy like him, he puts his head down and he tries to be, I'm 6'5", 220 and running. Times that bravado hinders you and it hurts you long term. Like I don't mind a guy like Steve Young is the guy I always reference as a runner because that guy came in and you knew he could throw the ball from the pocket. You knew it. That's what he wanted to do first. It just when things broke down, he was able to escape, run down, and he had the ability to keep going. Right? He didn't do it and want to run guys over and be like, hey, let me show my team that I can play football. No, he could pass in the pocket. They knew he could play football. He just did it because that was his God-given ability. And
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go.
Oh no, for me, like I can't. I hate this RPO thing because I think away from the quarterback, and it's going to put him in harm's way. And that's why a guy like Mitchell Trubisky, Tyrod Taylor are going to start getting paid more and more because you're going to need a backup quarterback because this guy is going to get lit up coming around the corner.
Well, and in all honesty, man, my question is with the Bills, we know that their halfback room was what hindered them. Why didn't they take care of that last year?
They probably still have faith in Singletary and Moss that they can get the job done.
I think
Adam and I were discussing before. Some of these guys are getting evaluated a lot more because they don't. The GMs are so afraid of missing on players, and all of a sudden they let them go and they go succeed somewhere else. So they're probably thinking, you know what, we're going to give Devin Singletary and Zach Moss another chance, see what they can do this year, and then if they still can't get the job done, we'll go on to the next draft and we'll find.
I know, bro, but we knew. No,
I'm not saying we don't know.
I know, but that says no. That's my point, though. When fans know that that's what's holding it back, that obviously speaks volumes. Like that's something that should have been. They knew. Like I understand you want to make it. You want to make it right. You want to make it. I don't know what draft pick Singletary was or what
second round pick, I believe.
What was it?
I think it was a second round pick, I believe.
Okay, so yeah, that's not a big deal. If you move on from him for 1 year, whatever, like second round, whoop-de-doo. But my whole thing is like, we knew that was their weak spot on that offense. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It was plain as day.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And they knew that. Whether or not you wanted to make it right, dude, you should have addressed that. Because they would have gone a lot further last year if they would have done it.
It was Moss and Singletary. Okay, so Moss is 24 years old, giving me the grill stare.
My apologies.
Third round pick, yeah. He's giving me that grill stare. Like, yeah. But he did nothing. And then Zach Moss. Those are two guys. Now, they got Duke Johnson. I don't know if he's going to do much. But I like the Cook kid. I think he's going to be what they need, a dynamic.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, they both are third round picks, right? Dalvin Cook, the Cook kid, a third-round pick. The thing about it is all their backs seem to be the same height. 5'9", 5'10". Like to me, I need a guy with a little bit more pop. And now here it is. James Cook is 5'11", which is a little bigger than their backs, 190 pounds. That'll probably get bigger as he goes.
Yeah.
And he runs a 4.2. And I think what happens is that guy brings the tilt the field type of ability where you give him the rock, he's going 60 in a heartbeat, right?
Yep.
So that's what they're missing right now. Imagine this. This kid does this, right? James Cook, he gets the rock and he breaks open a couple of long runs. Now the Bills get the ball again. James Cook is in the backfield, and now you have the option that Josh Allen can run. There's so many potential things. You have a running back and a guy that's a dual threat quarterback that you don't always need to rely on. The defense gets lulled to sleep. Maybe he doesn't play action pass to Cook. The linebackers get sucked up. Josh Allen throws it right over the top to Keelan Doss or Dawson Knox, right? Or what happens is maybe they are doing it and Josh Allen can run. There's so many things you can do when you have a featured back that I don't know why they didn't do it. I think they rely too much on your quarterback, and sometimes that can hurt you, man. If you come around, I'm telling you, I don't know if you guys play football, but I'm not saying you didn't. All I know is that my coach told me or when I listened to defense when I played there, and they say if this guy comes around and do the RPO, you put your helmet in his chin and make sure that he doesn't come around again. That's what I'm telling all my defensive players when I see an RPO. If I don't care who has the ball, if the quarterback comes out in that fake, you drill him. That's it.
I got to quit. Was there any halfbacks on the trade block at the trade deadline?
Saquon Barkley was.
He was?
They could have traded a third-round pick for
Saquon. Okay, so here's my question. If Saquon Barkley went to the Bills at the trade deadline last year, did the Bills win a Super Bowl?
Probably.
The defense was still an issue. The defense was still an issue.
Think about this, right?
No, the defense was not good
the defense was terrible in the playoffs. They were number one in the season, but I think that there's a difference, right? When you don't have a guy you can turn and give the ball to, 4-minute offense is a thing nowadays. Old school 1990s football is a thing in the last 4 minutes of the game. Why do you think Tennessee wins so much, right? They have a good defense. They get the lead. They get 17, 18, 19 points, right? And then the team has to –
I said then they unleash the beast once they get
right. Then their defense is good. They hold into a grand halt, right? Then they get the ball back, and all they do is the Henry, and that's all they do. And you're so bludgeoned at this point, because that's all they did was pound you for 3.5 quarters, right? The last half a quarter, you don't tackle Henry, and that's when he's getting at his best. So. Yeah. For me, if you're the Buffalo Bills, you need to add that element of knock you out type fucking football at the end of a game, because that's what's going to win you the game. AK is right. It wasn't the offense that necessarily lost in the football. It was the fact that they got the ball with 2 minutes to go. They scored with a minute and gave the Kansas City Chiefs a chance to get the ball right back, right? And they scored.
That Tre'Davious White injury to them killed that team last year.
That did too.
When he was there, that killed that team because they lost their number one corner, and every team was attacking in the secondary.
What I'm saying is, like, Sean McDermott has to play the cards that he's dealt, right? So he knows he doesn't have a running back, so he has to use his offense to get them back in the game. And great game plan called by Daboll there. I think Daboll got a head coaching job because of that game plan right there. Just like when Pat Shermer beat the New Orleans Saints with the miracle at the Superdome or whatever that shit was called. That Pat Shermer got Coach of the Year, and then he got Offensive Coach of the Year as well, or something like that. And that game got him a head coaching job. So going on this rambling chat, but I think a running game helps Buffalo going forward because they don't need to throw it in inclement weather. They don't need to worry about it throwing on Josh Allen. He can make the throws needed, but you can then hold the team, right? Look at Von Miller. If they sniff Patrick Mahomes, the game is over.
Yes, 100%.
And they have other guys too, not just Von Miller. I mean, Gregory Rousseau is turning into a pretty decent pass rusher as well.
But last year, that was their issue, is they couldn't get to the quarterback in that game, even when they blitzed. Yeah. And I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes, and that's the reason why they suck, is because now you can't blitz, so you're playing back zone because you want to cover everything underneath. Well, guess what? Tyreek Hill you don't want to give him that much space because once he turns his hips, if you take a bad angle,
He's gone.
it's a touchdown.
Exactly.
And that's their downfall. And
Well,
not having a run game doesn't help a defense because that defense was gassed because the offense went on there, scored like 3 plays, and they're back on the field. And they can't stop anybody. So it becomes a track meet. You need to play old school football. Look at the teams that win. The Rams had to rely on the run game to kind of stabilize the ship while they were figuring out how to get the ball to Cooper Kupp. And if they don't have Austin Eckler in that game, not Austin Eckler, excuse me, Cam Akers in that game to kind of help cement some of those plays to get out to Cooper Kupp in the play action, they probably don't win.
and dude, their second string halfback wasn't bad either. Hernandez or whatever his name is.
Yes.
Henderson. Yeah, dude, he was
Definitely Henderson. He's pretty good.
yeah, he was pretty damn good too. He didn't do half bad.
The things that you need in this league to succeed really there are 3 components. You need to have a solid defense. Doesn't need to be great, but needs to be solid. Needs to be able to get off the field on third down. Probably, I would say, a top 11, 12 defense, you can win a Super Bowl or have a great pass rush, right? The second thing is a running game and a decent line, right? Those 2 things go hand in hand because you're going to need to play ball control football sometimes. And the last thing is a competent, good quarterback because, again, you saw what happened with Jimmy G. They did everything that we talked about, ran the football, played good defense, but when they needed it most, their guy didn't come through for them, right? The Bengals needed it most. Joe Burrow plays a game of the year against Tennessee. They sacked him 8 times, 9 times. He didn't fumble it once. He didn't put the ball in harm's way once. That's what you call smart quarterback playing. And I don't see him.
That's what you need. You need that type of quarterback.
So let's move on to some other things going on. Giants and Patriots are playing tonight.
Yes.
It's the first preseason game. Well, second preseason game, technically count the whole, but it's the start of the preseason schedule, right? Tennessee also plays tonight against the Ravens. I'm sure they'll be keeping an eye on the Giants. I know people don't really think that, but they really do. Teams scout you right now. They're going to find out what's on your roster. What do you guys think we're going to see tonight in the Patriots game and the Ravens game? Patriots, Giants, Titans, Ravens. You think we see anything interesting?
I think we're going to see maybe not a whole lot. I mean, the offensive and the defensive schemes are probably going to be very vanilla, but we're probably going to see how this offense looks out there under Brian Dable and Mike Kafka's offensive play calling. Because I think the first team offense is maybe going to get like a series or 2. If anything, I think they should get more than that because of how bad they looked. But I think that we're going to see at least this offense to see how they move the ball down the field. The defense, we're going to get a first look at guys like Kayvon Thibodeau and some of these other young defensive players out there, how they're going to look at Wade Martindale's defensive system. But what I'm mostly looking at during this game, I'm looking to see what some of these depth players can do with the opportunity in front of them in their first preseason game to maybe open some eyes to this coaching staff going forward. That's what I'm looking forward to see, some of these young players out there to open some eyes to not only to the Giants fans, but to the Giants coaching staff and the front office and be like, you know what? This guy's showing us something. Maybe we could move him up the depth chart a little bit and give him a little bit more of a play out there. So
let me ask you guys this question. This is my question. Are preseason games important? Because we were having a discussion in the chat yesterday on and I didn't mean to cut you off, Joe, on your thought. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But we were having a discussion on. Well, yeah, I'll put you in timeout if you don't. So it's okay.
I am not Mitchell.
Everyone's subject to the timeout on the hurry up. It doesn't matter. So, but the point is that do you think there were some? Because I know somebody in the NFC East Roundup chat, mostly Miz, was like, these games mean nothing. But they do, but they don't. They don't mean anything in terms of schematics, but they do mean something in what we can see. Because last year, Giants offensive line sucked, and a lot of beat reporters were like, maybe it's the preseason, and it turned out the Giants offensive line sucked. We knew that, but we kind of got it gauged throughout the preseason. So what are you looking for? AK, you can chime in too, to kind of to see if this team is going to have a decent season.
It's important for depth and development. to let these young guys get real-time reps during a game. It's not as much important for your starters unless your starters need those reps.
Oh no, our starters need reps.
No, I know.
Reps.
I'm just saying that in certain cases, though, there is certain teams where their starters might not need as many. I'm not speaking
Not the
specifically.
Giants.
Yeah, but you guys, sure, you could use as much as you could, but you also don't want to get any injuries or anything either.
No. I don't care about the injuries right now. And
Yeah.
I think Adam would back me up on this. This is football. The Giants right now, they're a team that has a lot to prove. The new regime that's coming in. You need to get these offensive players as much reps as possible, and these guys can get hurt anytime. Hell, we had an offensive lineman that's a rookie that got hurt at a Fan Fest game. These guys can get hurt in the first series of a football game, or they can get hurt during the middle of the season. We can't worry about injuries. If you worry about too much about somebody getting hurt, guess what? They're going to get hurt. You have to just go out there and try to run your offensive scheme and get some of these guys on their timing. You get some of these guys, playing together on this offensive scheme going forward to the defensive scheme. You can't worry about injuries anymore because that's when we normally see them, is when you're too busy trying to not get hurt, and then guys end up getting hurt. So I apologize for interrupting, but the injuries thing, I don't want to hear it anymore.
No, and in all honesty, dude, I'm just ready to watch Tyrod Taylor take over, so my prediction comes to fruition.
I mean, I want to see what Tyrod Taylor can do as well.
Sorry, my mic was muted. I had to unmic my mute to let you know that I was laughing because that it's funny. Because I look at it. Someone threw up the stats in this forum that I go to, this site that I check every day. That's why people don't think I'm plugged in, dude. I bleed Giant. I do. I look on a site more so than I would put my work in. So, nothing really gets by me in terms of what's going on with the pulse of this team, right? And understanding it. People think I'm weird and all this stuff. I read between lines. I see things that you may not see, and that's why I bring things up. Not because I say that I'm better than you because I worked in an NFL organization or I've studied. It's just how my brain is wired. That's how it's been wired. I can't explain it to you why. Again, I don't think I'm better than anybody. So when I hear things like, great or Daniel Jones this, and clearly I'm watching the same practice video that I'm seeing, and literally Tyrod Taylor's doing better stuff. I go read write-ups, and the same guys who are that I get my information from and consume their knowledge are saying the same thing that I'm seeing. The guy is a better overall prospect than everybody else. He may only have started 53 games, and Daniel Jones and him may have the same number at a different age, but they also were drafted at different times, right? Tyrod Taylor is a 6th-round pick. Daniel Jones is the 6th overall pick. I expect more out of Daniel. So when a guy comes in like Tyrod and is clearly moving the offense downfield in practice, clearly throwing the ball with better touch and velocity, having a better feel for the pocket, I get concerned. And I don't get concerned because Daniel's not doing this. I get concerned because if I'm a fan and I'm seeing these things, what are the coaches seeing? Because they get paid millions of dollars.
I think the coaches
in my point of view, Adam, if I'm the coach, I'm going to go with the guy gives me the best chance to win.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, dude. I don't give a shit where you were drafted. I don't give a crap what your overall pick is. Like, if you are out playing my player, you are playing. Like, I'm sorry. If Tyrod comes out here and proves that he can handle it all, I mean, he is a vet. He is, 33?
Yeah.
He is older. Like, if he proves that he can be that 1-year bridge quarterback that they're looking Daniel Jones to be, and he can be that dude and be successful and win you guys like 3 or 4 more games with his legs that maybe, Daniel can't handle, then why not? Like, what's it going to lose? First off, you're paying him more. Taylor is more money, and Daniel's making 8. Like, you might as well play the dude that's making the most money. You paid him for a reason, right?
Oh wow!
Right, and I think
James
think
White
people,
just retired.
that's
James
sad.
White, the Patriots Super Bowl winning running back, just retired.
Oh
I mean,
shit!
he's got he's got a lot of he's been a Patriot for a long time. They lost a lot of backs so far, the Patriots players. But getting back to what I'm saying is like, I agree with you, AK. If a guy is doing better, I can't just be like, well, John, man, put this guy down here and lose this season. You got to play the best player. You can't just. I hate when that happens, and this is another reason why I think I'm mad at the Giants because you brought in Tyrod Taylor, who people were like, oh, he's not really a starter, but yet he started games in this league. So if you didn't want a guy to come in and challenge Daniel Jones, then why don't you bring in a guy like a Minshew or Nick Mullins or a guy that is a competent backup but not going to cost you money? You went out and paid a guy $1 million, giving him 2.5 right now this season in Tyrod Taylor. The next year you're giving him $9 million. And I think it's even guaranteed. So my point. So then, what happens here? Why are we wasting time? Just give me Tyrod Taylor. Say this is the guy that we're starting with. Sorry, Daniel. Go off and find someplace new and reestablish your value, and we'll go from here. Because I want the best players to play. I don't care about your status. If you think that Josh Azudu is better than Shane Lemieux, well, get that kid in. I'll roll with
it. Another guy who shouldn't be out there, and we all know who that is. But he's going to be playing because of that contract he's making. Oh, Kenny Galladay. Excuse me.
Right.
I had a cough.
Exactly. Like if Sterling Shepard is not good, I'm not putting him out there because you paid him. Just make the decision. I think what AK has gotten me fired up about is I need more general managers and coaches to stop being so pussyfooting. Just go out there.
Oh my God, yeah.
Do your fucking job. Stop being worried about the ownership and live and die on your sword. If you think cutting this player is going to make your team better or playing this player is going to make your team better, and you believe that, and he's clearly showing that, then you play that guy.
No, dude, I've already said it with my own team, man. If I have nothing but the utmost respect for Jalen Hurts. I want him nothing but more in this world to succeed. But if he comes out this year and I can clearly see he is the reason that my team is being held back, I want a new fucking quarterback. Whether that be via trade, via off-season, free agency or draft, but I'm getting a new fucking quarterback because in the end, it's about my Eagles. It's not about Hurts.
Right.
And all you have to do is look at the fact of what Tampa Bay and what the Rams did in back-to-back seasons. Each of them had quarterbacks that were not horrible, but they were not great. Winston, I guess, a little bit more cases. He was good. But what did those teams do? They evaluated what they had in that team for that certain season, and then they realized, the quarterbacks we have are okay, but we can upgrade and we can take our team to a Super Bowl championship, and that's what they did. Bucs went out there, they went to get Tom Brady, won a Super Bowl. Following year, the Rams went out there, they went to go get Matt Stafford, won a Super Bowl. So you're going to look at teams. That teams are going to probably look at that formula now. They're going to look at their overall team and see if their quarterback measures up to what the rest of their team is like. And if that quarterback, if there's not, where they think he can be, they'll look to upgrade and try to get a better quarterback out there that will take them over the top. Just looking at
that's what I'm talking about, Jeff. Yeah. Get back to the playoffs real quick. Get back to the playoffs. You said something that makes sense, or you painted a picture that made sense. What teams in the playoffs had the worst quarterback situations? Tennessee and the 49ers.
Yep.
What happened when those games needed to be on the line and those quarterbacks needed to win those particular games? They didn't come through. Like Tom Brady, Tampa was getting the doors kicked in, right? I mean, when they needed a comeback, who would they rely on? Their quarterback. You know what I'm saying? They relied on the guy that came back. Joe Burrow played smart football. Matthew Stafford, the list goes on and on. But when you look at Tannehill and when you look at Jimmy Garoppolo, those guys had a chance to make a name for themselves that go beyond just, regular season quarterbacks, and they failed. PG also in the Super Bowl missed a couple of plays that probably a quarterback should have hit. He had, I think it was Kendrick Bourne or somebody going for a deep post, and he overthrew him by like 10 yards. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So when you look at it, the formula is clear. Good defense, solid run game, O-line, good to great quarterback wins you championships. That's the formula you need going forward. And if you want to waste time with those guys, then waste time with the pussyfooting around with those middle of the run quarterbacks.
That's where I worry about a team like the 49ers, especially because they have a team that's pretty good all around. They got a lot of good players on that franchise, and the problem is now they're going to be putting their faith in a second-year quarterback who pretty much did nothing while he might have upside. Who the hell is Trey Lance? What is he? And you have a team that is very talented enough to could be a Super Bowl team. I mean, hell, they were a Super Bowl potential team last year. They have a great defense, good offensive line, good playmakers all around. What's the one thing that's held that team back? The quarterback. And now you're putting your faith in a second-year kid who's never done anything. That's a team that might have should have gone out there and got themselves a veteran quarterback to see if they could put them over the top. But I get it. They want to see what Trey Lance can do because they did draft that kid 3rd overall. So they want to see what this kid can do in this offense. But that's the team right there you got to think about.
I know.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I know. I agree with him, man. The kid only played 1 year in college. Literally 1 year. Like, you're basing off 1 year. You're hoping that 1 year was not a fluke. Like, you have quarterbacks that come out of college that have played 4 years, 3 years, and you're just praying to God that those guys are going to be what they were or what they can be. This guy only played 1 year. Like, there is no certainty here. He could come out and fall flat on his face, or he could overachieve, or he could just be, like, there's it's a big chance here,
there
man.
We go again. There we go again, AK.
Consistent. At least Jimmy G, he might fall flat on his face, but at least he orchestrates the offense and gets you into the playoffs. But is that going to be Trey? Can you guarantee that?
That's going to cost Shanahan and Lynch their jobs if this kid doesn't turn out to be a good quarterback. They're gone. This kid fails. Right. They're out of there.
Yeah.
That you guys bring up good points because this is what we talked about before, again, with riding in your faith as opposed to just going with what might work right now. They drafted this kid 3rd overall. Much controversy. A lot of people thought it was going to be Mac Jones. It ended up all wrong, blah, blah, blah. But now you've put a 3rd round pick in it, right? That means this guy has got to be good. People lose jobs for making quarterback picks like this. People gain jobs by making guys like Derek Carr look spectacular. So there's a difference here, right? So now, for me, 2 things are alarming for the 49ers. Is A, they decided to go with the running back / receiver as their face of the franchise right now because they paid Deebo Samuel. So what does that tell me about Jimmy G? Exactly what Jeff said. They don't believe in their quarterback. And the second thing is now they're riding on, like Jeff said, their jobs and this guy being good. Because if he is not, and I mean, I think Kyle Shanahan's going to try to match deficiencies by having a strong run game and a solid defense. But if he is not or doesn't get them over the top or they're one and done or they don't make the playoffs, bye-bye John Lynch, bye-bye Kyle Shanahan. It won't matter because, and the third thing I want to bring up to see is that the NFL has done this now where the draft now doesn't cripple you when you get a quarterback, right? You used to, like Sam Bradford was the last guy that got a contract in the draft. In 2011, they renegotiated where, they have a tier system going on with draft picks, right? So even though Trey Lance is going to cost you some money, 25, 30 million over time, you could still draft another guy and not worry about it. So the 49ers better hope that they're not, that they're not in the, again, because that would be a bad season. John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan may not be the guys there if that happens.
Yeah, they better pray that this kid is good because that San
completely
Francisco
boxing
team is they're really talented. This is it's not that far-fetched to say they're a Super Bowl caliber team, but the one thing that's going to
they probably should have been in the Super Bowl last year.
Oh, absolutely. If it wasn't for Jimmy G and a Jaquiski Tartt dropped interception, they would have been in the Super Bowl. But this team is relying on a second-year quarterback who's done absolutely zero, who, like AK just said before, played 1 year in college, and now they're putting faith in this kid to be the face of their franchise and be that quarterback that can take them to the next level. Good luck. I'd be very, very worried if I was a San Francisco 49ers fan about this kid.
Like, no lie, man. If I was San Francisco, I would have traded Trey Lance to Seattle and taken fucking Russell Wilson. That would have done the trick. But
Oh yeah, that would have been that. See, there it makes sense. Or traded Jimmy G there for Garoppolo picks. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because Garoppolo,
I would have done something a little more than just trade area, man. Like, you can't convince me that this kid is just going to walk in, step in, and completely produce exactly the same way that Jimmy G did for you and more. Like that, I just can't. Yeah.
What do you think they were asking for Jimmy? Technically still under contract. They haven't cut him yet. So what are they waiting for? Or what are you waiting for, the right fit that like Kyler Murray blows at his knee and you're like, oh well, we need a quarterback. Here comes Jimmy G. I mean, like, what are they waiting for? A king's ransom? Like, I don't know how long Jimmy G's under contract because they're holding him. He under contract past this season?
I think he might. I think he might be a free agent after this year. Not sure.
Because then it becomes, why am I going to trade for this guy if I can get him in a year?
I think they're going to cut him. I think they're going to if they can't find a trade partner, they're going to cut him before the season because he's not staying in San Francisco. I think the only reason why he wasn't traded sooner is because of the injury that he suffered, and they want to try to make sure he gets to 100%. It was 100% healed before they made a move on him. So
Plus,
I would not be surprised if he gets moved sometime soon.
If you look around too, man, pretty much everyone has a quarterback for the most part. I mean, the only team that I can really think of that doesn't is Seattle. I mean, yeah, the Bears, they have, they're stuck with Fields right now. He's draft. Trey Lance is in Jacksonville. I mean, I guess the Houston Texans, but I think they're set on Mills. I think they're going to give Mills a second year.
I like Mills. I
do too. So, like that, every team really kind of has a quarterback they're satisfied with or have under contract. So there's really no place to send Jimmy except Seattle or to you guys, or that's really it. You know what I'm saying?
But Jimmy G is average quarterback because his stats are 3,800 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. That's the middle of the road production right there, right? That's like what we hope Daniel Jones can get is 20 touchdowns. And even then, if I'm getting that, if I'm getting that Daniel Jones, then there is cause for recourse because that means we can move on. Because if the 49ers who went to the playoffs and with this guy with 3,800 yards and 20 touchdowns can move on, then we surely can. Obviously, they're hoping that this guy can do more with his legs and pass a little more because why give up that production? He did exactly what you needed to do. He played right into the offense. He made plays right on the defense. If you throw 20 touchdowns, you're not very good.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, man, if they make this move and they do not continue on with Jimmy G, which they probably aren't, I have a feeling that it's going to be a rough start for him. I'm not going to lie. I
agree with you 100%.
I honestly think they miss the playoffs if they go this route. I'm not going to lie, man. It's going to be a rough start for him because his division is not going to take it easy on him, no matter how many weapons he has.
I think if they're going to go to the playoffs this year, it's going to be a lot to do with their defense, if anything, because I agree with you, AK. It's going to be a struggle for this kid relying on him. Unless this kid just goes out there and blows the door off everybody and he's a lot better than we think. Most of us believe that it's going to be a struggle for this kid at the beginning of the season, just trying to get used to playing in the NFL because he really didn't have a rookie year. He barely played at all. So the San Francisco 49ers are going to be a playoff team. A lot of it's going to have to do with that defense.
Yeah, maybe next year or the year after he'll break out. But, dude, I don't see him completely, taking it by storm his first year. I just really don't. He's got one hell of a schedule to face.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy.
That division is not really half bad at all. I mean, if Arizona's not a bad team, and obviously we know what the Rams are. I think the only cakewalk might be Seattle. But, I mean, that division is not exactly, easy as anything, too. So it's going to be a struggle for this kid. Unless he's a lot better than we think and he's just really adapts well to this Shanahan offensive system, I think it's going to be a little bit of a rough road at the beginning of the season for Trey Lance and for this offense especially. I think the defense is going to have to carry them at the beginning of the season. And the running game, too. Elijah Mitchell's going to have to be good for them.
NYG22, great stuff here. Yeah, no one's trading for Jimmy G. But you know what's interesting is there are a lot of Baker Mayfield gets traded, right? Yet Jimmy G is still on a team, and it's like, what are you doing? Either A, you want him on the team, or B, you don't. In which case, cut him so a team like Seattle can get him in their system. I know. I mean, maybe you're trying to do that so they have a limited access and they're going to struggle with Jimmy G. I don't know if that's the gamesmanship you're playing.
Well, Jimmy G was hurt the entire offseason. I believe he had a rotator cuff issue and he had to get surgery. So they wanted to try to make sure he was 100%. And that's probably why they didn't trade him, because no team wanted to trade for a guy that's coming off an injury right now. So they want to wait until he sees 100%.
But see, that's a very disrespectful thing, though, man. You can't say you take Jones or Tyrod over Jimmy G. Jimmy G's been to a Super Bowl 3 years ago, and he just made it to the championship game this past season. That's way better than what Jones or Tyrod's ever done. That's so disrespectful, man.
I think he's going by the upside.
People don't like
well, whether or not his upside is medium of the pack, dude. The fact is, he's fucking done it.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, resumes don't matter apparently to people. So my point is, see, if we're talking about Jimmy G, this is why I think the 49ers are in a conundrum, because it's like, what you could have easily given you something for him, right? They have the draft capital. Let's be honest. They got it from the Russell Wilson trade. So it's not like they can't give you anything that you're looking for. And I don't think they're going to give him more than a second or third round pick anyways, if that's what you wanted. And you got to probably extend it. So if Baker Mayfield, who's on the Browns, who's basically getting dogged the same way, right? Well, how does he get to Carolina? But you can't let this guy go to explore his options. Because if I'm Jimmy G, I'm looking at the landscape of the teams, right? And there's possibly Chicago, Seattle, a few other teams that I could possibly latch on to and become a part of and win the job over these guys. You don't think he's better than Drew Lock or Geno Smith?
Oh, he'd be the starter if he goes to Seattle.
I don't like Jimmy Garoppolo, but he clearly is better than those two guys.
Yeah, he'd be the starter immediately on first game of the season for Seattle if he gets straight over there.
Well, that's the thing, though. We don't know how good.
I 100% agree with that. I agree. He is the reason they haven't won a Super Bowl, but also the reason they've got to one too. You know, I'm not saying that he. You know what I'm saying, man? Like he's not.
He's a good game manager that doesn't lose games often.
He's Ryan Tannehill on the East Coast. I mean, on the NFC side. Basically, he does just enough in the regular season to keep you afloat. He does enough to move the chains, but when it comes crunch time, you can't rely on him. And that's essentially what makes or breaks you in the play. You laugh at Eli Manning all you want, but you gave him the game-winning drive. Most likely, you're going down to scoring something. We're scoring something with that guy. The chaos didn't bother him. As a matter of fact, it's like he almost lived for the chaos. Like, I'll throw 4 picks, but don't you guys worry. Come 2 minutes in the game, we're close. I'm winning it for you. And
Peyton Manning even said in an interview when it came between the two of them that he says, I think Eli's a better, clutch. Like he's more calm and he's better when it comes to like those clutch situations than Peyton is, because Eli was a calm demeanor guy and he wouldn't let anything bother him or faze him, and he would just go out there and get the job done. He had that killer instinct inside of him without necessarily showing it on the field, and that's what made Eli the type of quarterback the Giants fans and NFL fans really got behind, because of that type of player he was. When he came down those clutch situations, Eli would get the job done. Here, I'll just go on a tangent a little bit.
No, but
I hear that would be amazing tomorrow. I would fucking laugh my ass off. I would love that. I would love that shit. And then what? Send Kirk Cousins to Seattle? Oh, I would fucking love it. Send him
back to Washington. Let him compete with Wentz.
They don't do too many three-way trades. They should try that. They should do that. Kirk Cousins is the same way. Like, will he perform? Dak Prescott, same way. Right now, you get defined by your legacy. Look what Aaron Rodgers did. Right? In the playoffs against the 49ers, he didn't have his best game. And they needed him the most because, that's when you need your quarterback, is tight games like that. And yes, it was snowing. Yes, there were elements, but that's a game to be the best player on the field. If they went if he went for 350 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the Green Bay Packers lost because Jimmy G had a solid game and there was a couple fumbles by your running back or something like that, and you're not the reason they lost, then I can be 100% with that. When Aaron Rodgers doesn't win a game like that, and he's in that category, I have to then look at Jimmy G the same way. Like, dude, that's Aaron Rodgers on the other end losing the football game. You're not even half of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People need to do the quarterback position. I know resumes also need to be brought up when we're talking about what a player has done, because I feel like a lot of bias goes into these evaluations with fan bases. Like, well, I fuck Jimmy G because this, that, and the other thing. But yeah, he did go to a Super Bowl. That doesn't define him. That doesn't make him great or anything like that. But his resume is his resume.
In a point, though, it does, dude, because how many quarterbacks can truly say they've been to a Super Bowl?
Not a lot.
Right.
So in a way, it kind of does, but it doesn't because he didn't win, but yet he did make it.
Who the hell is paying Jimmy G $27 million? And I understand that they're not going to pay him $27 million, but you got guys like Mitchell Trubisky who didn't even play or have ball getting starting jobs. You got guys like Tyrod Taylor getting a bag. You got other quarterbacks that are in that middle. Kirk Cousins is still on a team getting mad money. And is Jimmy G better than any of those guys? No, but resume wise, if you were to take Jimmy Garoppolo's name off the top of his resume and Kirk Cousins' name on top of his resume, and you go down and said he did this, he did this, he did this, and list all his accomplishments. Yeah, got the team to the Super Bowl. You're gonna be like, oh, I want the quarterback that's been there, done that, as opposed to the guy that's just putting up stats. But then you put the name on it, and you're like, oh, well, fuck Jimmy G, blah, blah, blah. That's how you have to kind of look at this. You sometimes have to take the name away and look at the resume, because when you do that, it's like when a job has an owner, right? And they have somebody they know versus somebody they don't. Or to take that person that you know and put the resume out and took their name away with the person that you don't know and just made them both equal, you might go not with your friend because, okay, this person is a better fit for this job than my friend is. My point is that when you look at resumes, just because Jimmy Garoppolo is Jimmy Garoppolo, that's the reason why I think people hate him more. If his name is no-name quarterback and you're just putting up resumes, he'd probably get more looks as a starter.
Like, no lie, you're paying Jimmy G $27 million, and he took them on playoff runs year after year here. But you're paying Dak $40 million, and he's only got the one playoff game and tanked it. There's plenty of quarterbacks who are making way further higher money than him who haven't even made the playoffs yet. So exactly. I mean, you're paying him less money to give you more production. Why would you not take that?
Exactly.
And Lamar, if the Vikings ever made a trade and brought in Jimmy Garoppolo, Kirk Cousins will still probably be the starter, because you have to think about too timing, synergy, chemistry with the wide receivers. Jimmy G got like nothing like that. Kirk Cousins has that type of chemistry that he's developed over the past couple of years with guys like Dalvin Cook, with Justin Jefferson, with Adam Thielen. That goes in a lot of things too. With you have a quarterback that's played with certain players for a while, and even if he not be the best quarterback in the world, he develops chemistry with those wide receivers and tight ends where he knows where they're going to be almost at all times. And that helps out a quarterback too, So there's no way. It's a hypothetical thing. Jimmy G is probably. I would not be surprised if Jimmy G is in Seattle. And it's like what you guys mentioned. That seems to be the only logical place that if he wants to start, it's going to probably have to be with the Seahawks because of Drew Lock and Geno Smith not being the answers over there.
Let me put it this way, Jeff. I can tell you right now, if Jimmy G would go to the Vikings, I would 100% sit here and guarantee you the Vikings would make playoffs. But as far as Kirk Cousins being that quarterback, I will never 100% say that.
Wow.
I respectfully disagree. I'd take Kirk Cousins over Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's a better quarterback overall.
What is he?
I really do.
What has he proven? What has he proven? Nothing.
Oh, he hasn't been.
You paid him $84 million to be a stat guy.
Jimmy G is also sometimes in the right situation that helped him get to where he was.
And
Well, is that
I
his fault?
understand that, but the Vikings are a very good offensive team as well. I mean, that's Thielen, that's Jefferson, and their tight end, and then you add Cook. I mean, that's not losing anything. In fact, that's probably gaining a little bit more.
Oh, here comes a guy that is always in timeout.
But I'm just saying though, like he's actually getting more with Jefferson in that. Like I'm telling you, man, like you. You can say he's not better than Cousins, dude, but what has Cousins done? You paid him $84 million to do nothing. Whenever you had a guy in Casey Keenum who literally took them to the championship game on his freaking back in a 12-4 season. And then you substitute that guy with Kirk Cousins, paid him $84 million, and he's done shit. He hasn't done nothing. Kirk Cousins
Sometimes that's not all Cousins' fault.
Well,
yes, how is it not when the guy who has limited less talent than what he did way better than him the year prior?
let me say this. If we took the names off of the jerseys, like I said, this might be a different discussion, is what I'm saying. Is if you say this guy has one Super Bowl appearance, won some games in the playoffs, doesn't have great yardage, but job done. I'm telling you, a coach is probably going to take Jimmy G. Now, if you're looking at the names are different. Kirk Cousins, you see, and you're basing on potential. AK does have a point. What has he done? He didn't put that team was Super Bowl ready and hasn't been put over the top yet. He's right. Case Keenum, who's been bounced around the league, brought them to the championship game. And if it wasn't for Pat Shurmur not having an answer to the Eagles' blitz, they would be in the Super Bowl. That might have been a different Super Bowl that we're talking about. The Eagles may not have won. Right? They went down in their first 15 plays against the Eagles. Bang, scored a touchdown. Kirk Cousins comes in and same personnel, and does nothing. So I have to kind of look at.
I'm sorry. I respectfully disagree, guys. I think that Vikings team was not a great team last year. Their defense was suspect.
No, last year, but what about the 3 years before that? He's had the same damn team 3 years prior to that, too. There's no excuse.
I'm not saying Kirk Cousins is the greatest quarterback out there. He's like, up in the Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert area. But, I mean, you got to give the guy credit for some sort. I mean, he has been a pretty solid quarterback over the years.
Kirk Cousins.
And I think he's not been in the best situation compared to Jimmy G. Jimmy G's been in better situations over his career. Not saying it's his fault, but he's had a better team that he's been on over the years compared to Kirk Cousins. You got to be fair to that.
But that's where I disagree because Kirk Cousins had a ready-made squad. I'm telling you, they had Dalvin Cook. They had offensive line. Their defense with Mike Zimmer was top 10 at some point in his tenure. Now, last year they weren't a good defensively and they had injuries. I'm not saying that Jimmy G comes in and that team is in the Super Bowl. All I am saying is if you're measuring the guy in terms of what he's done, Jimmy G has done more with his career in terms of getting to the playoffs, getting to the Super Bowl than Kirk Cousins. That's a fact. And whether or not we want to agree with that, that's on his resume. So if you put that down there, that is one of the qualities that you look for. Now, the other qualities I'm looking for are, yes, can a guy execute an offense, Kirk Cousins? But game on the line, what has Kirk Cousins really done with a better team offensively than the 49ers?
Nothing.
I don't trust Jimmy G either because last year Jimmy G had the opportunity with a Super Bowl bound team to do something about it.
I understand. This gets on my nerves too.
And we're not discrediting that fact. Yes, we understand Jimmy G is not that it factor, but he is the it factor when it comes to getting you to the postseason and getting you at a little bit of a run. I mean, like I said, he got you to one Super Bowl in 3 years, and then he got you back to the championship game. I mean, what do you want the guy to prove to you? He's doing it with less money than most of these guys, and yes, like I said, he doesn't have the it factor to win the Super Bowl yet. He hasn't done it yet.
This is the same argument I had about Deshaun Watson. Okay. In Houston, Deshaun Watson threw 4,800 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions, whatever that freaking number was. Yet people don't want to give him credit because the team went 4-13. And I said it's not all on him because the defense gives up touchdowns at the end of the game. I understand that. But if we're talking about a resume and overall, right, and you, like I said, took the name off and are looking blindly, will a coach take a guy who's been to the playoffs and has an experience over the guy who's never been to the playoffs and gotten a The names, take the names off their back and just put the resumes up. Because what happens is, I'm not saying, no, Adam Costas is not saying Jimmy G is better than Kirk Cousins. No.
Neither am I.
All I am saying is, if you're looking at overall production on a resume, Jimmy G has accomplished more things in his career than Kirk Cousins. Whether or not he's better is not. Freaking Brad Johnson won the Super Bowl. Do I think he's better than Dan Marino? No, I'm not. All I'm saying is that Jimmy G out there should have had a job more so than Mitchell Trubisky.
That's why. Go ahead and finish your point.
Jimmy G should have more takers than this guy. Kirk Cousins is robbing the Minnesota Vikings blind. They're paying him $84 million, and they've done nothing.
All I'm saying is that I never said Kirk Cousins is this great quarterback at all. I never said that Kirk Cousins is not robbing the Vikings. That is true. But at the same time, I think Kirk Cousins gets a lot more hate than the guy deserves. I think he's a good quarterback.
I don't like either quarterback.
I really do. I don't love Kirk Cousins, but I think he's a better quarterback than a lot of people give him credit.
I agree with you.
And he has not failed. He's failed right now in terms of taking his team to where it needs to be. And I will agree with you on the fact that Jimmy G has a better resume overall compared to what Kirk Cousins has done. That you cannot argue. But at the same time, Jimmy G has also been in situations.
What do the Vikings do?
Listen. My whole point to this is I agree. I'm giving them both their props. Okay, Kirk Cousins is not bad. Jimmy G is not bad. They both do not have the it factor. My whole point is, though, I'm not going to not give the guy props where his props are deserved, and that is Jimmy G has given more and proven more on the teams he's been on. And you can say he's been holding them back, okay, but the fact is he's managed games enough for them to win. It's about the W's. It's not about, listen, it is about wins to me, man. Somebody asked me the other day, well, would you rather Jalen Hurts throw 3 touchdowns or run 3? I don't give a shit as long as he gets it in and we win the football game. That's all it's about is the W's, right?
What was the Vikings record
how
last
ugly
year?
it looks as long as they get it done.
What was the Vikings record last year?
I don't know. 7-9. I don't know.
I just think I'm not saying Kirk Cousins is this great quarterback or anything. I just think the guy gets a lot more hate than he deserves.
Let me just say something real quick. 2018, the Vikings defense was number 4 in the NFL. Okay, number 4 in the NFL. And they had Kirk Cousins. They went to the playoffs with Teddy Bridgewater. All I'm saying is, I don't even like Jimmy G. But if we need to give respect sometimes. He did what he needed to do. Do I want to take Kirk Cousins or Jimmy G? Hell no. I don't even like Dak Prescott, but I give credit where credit is due because I understand that he threw for 5,000 yards. But at the end of the day, this is about what have you done for me? What can you do for me? You know what I'm saying? If you want to talk about Jimmy G being elite, he's not. If you want to talk about him being better than Daniel Jones, he is. Like, you may not like Jimmy G, but he's better clearly because he's done more.
I take both these guys over Daniel Jones because they've done something at least in their career. Daniel Jones has done jack. So I would take both of them over
That's
Jones.
what our point was. That's exactly what our point was.
So bad coaching sinks the Vikings, and I'm supposed to feel sorry because good coaching got Jimmy G to the Super Bowl? Give me a break. You can't have one and then the other. You can't be like, well, the Vikings had bad coaching. That's what sank them. Yet they had a good defense, but they couldn't do it. Meanwhile, Jimmy G played within the confines of his freaking scheme, okay? Won the football game, did exactly what a quarterback is asked to do, bring your team to the Super Bowl. The only thing he didn't do is win it, right? And he went to the playoffs again. Jimmy G, the 2 years that Jimmy G has been out for the San Francisco 49ers, they didn't make the playoffs. In 2018, they didn't make the playoffs. 2019, they go to the Super Bowl. He gets injured in 2020. They don't do shit. He comes back in 2021, and they go to the playoffs.
I don't even care. I don't like both these quarterbacks at all. I think they're both way off.
I just gets on my nerves where where guys just nitpick and pick out certain things and want to say, well, this guy did this. Like Deshaun Watson's great. People were trying to tell him, well, he went 4-13. Yeah, but if he drove his team down to score, they kick the ball off, and the other team, because your defense is cocky, goes down and scoring, how is that my fault? Right? Jimmy G is put on a team that was smartly built. They understood what his weaknesses were. They're like, well, this guy isn't a great quarterback, but he's good enough to get us to where we need to go. Let's build the parts around him. Kirk Cousins was supposed to come in and be that missing link to get the Vikings, who were a good defense in 2016 and 2017. Oh, and by the way, good in 2018. He was supposed to be there. They went backwards ever since he got there.
Yep, that's kind of my point.
Some of that is his fault, but it's not all completely his fault. I'm just saying the guy gets.
And I'm not saying. I'm just saying. If Kirk Cousins was so good, how come people aren't banging down his door to get him? Indianapolis could have called him up. Hell, the damn Panthers could have called him up. You know what I mean?
And in all honesty, man, Kirk Cousins' record even follows him in Washington. Go look at him in Washington, bro. He's the same way. He had 4 years of 4,000 plus yards passing with like 30 some touchdowns and only like 10 interceptions. And he never even did anything. He never even went to the playoffs.
And they're still waiting for a quarterback there. They're still waiting for a quarterback in that.
He did the same thing in Washington, bro. It's just a track record. That's why I say what I say. He's a great stat guy in the regular season, but
there's a lot of guys that don't like that.
When does he get to the postseason though?
And I'm not saying the Super Bowl
He's never been there, except maybe once, I think.
Mitch, how do you feel? You've been quiet.
I'm not.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was on the phone. I just don't really care about these quarterbacks. I'm just being completely honest here.
Nobody cares about the quarterbacks, obviously, but the discussion
No,
came up
give your
about.
opinion on it.
Yeah, my opinion is, who cares? Did they win the big one yet? No? Okay.
But I don't want that to be your legacy, because the thing is I'm not trying to justify Jimmy G is better than anybody. All I'm saying is that his career needs to be given some type of respect for what he's done. You may not like the guy, and that's fine. But if you're doing a biased evaluation where you're sitting down there and these teams are looking at who's available, right, and what they've done, they're gonna bring in a guy like a Jimmy G, because that Super Bowl is gonna hold clout, whether or not he won it. It holds clout. We like Matt Ryan.
It holds some value. I agree with you there. It holds value. It definitely does, but didn't win the big one. Neither did Kirk Cousins. So for me, it's just like
Jimmy G.
I can't say that, NYG. Bro, I respect the shit out of you, bro, but I can't say the 49ers go to the Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins. I cannot say that, man.
I can't
the
say
dude is shit. He hasn't, dude. No, the dude hasn't even ever won a playoff run. I cannot say that. I cannot say.
Doesn't Jimmy G have a Super Bowl championship? Jimmy G's won a Super Bowl.
Under Tom Brady, yeah.
Yeah.
He won it behind Brady. Like he didn't win it on the field.
This is all I'll say.
We know that we're not. We know they're not winning a title that we're having here. Okay, that's not the discussion that's being talked about here. The discussion that I think people need to start to look at is the resume of a guy who went to the Super Bowl. You've got to give some credit to that. That is a feat unto itself. I'm not saying he's better than Kirk Cousins or for any of that.
That's his guy.
All I'm saying is, like, I'm not taking any of these guys as a day one starter. All I'm saying is, what has Kirk Cousins done outside of compile stats? Are you taking because he's done something, or are you taking Kirk Cousins because we put him up against Jimmy G? You know what I'm saying? If his name was Gardner Minshew and he did this, is it a different discussion? If his name is, well, I don't know, Matt Ryan, is it a different discussion? Like, is the name is what is holding you back? Because to me, I'm not defending Jimmy G. Everyone knows that I think he sucked. He is holding the 49ers back. But he did play well enough for them to get to where they needed to go. That's all I'm saying.
Jimmy G's got a better resume.
But dude, Jimmy G is a reason for it, though. He was a game manager. He didn't make mistakes.
They ran through Debo, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean,
Elijah Mitchell was really good.
He only did what was like Adam said earlier. He only did what was asked of him. As long as he did what was asked of him, they won.
He was a good game manager.
Yeah.
In the Super Bowl that they lost, they asked Jimmy G to do more than what he needed to. And that was put the game on his back and win the game. Kirk Cousins, I guess people forget 2016 against the New York fucking Giants to get to the playoffs. He completely chokes. He lost to a team that were already clinched, and the Giants weren't even playing that hard. Game on the line. So, game on the line, Jimmy G doesn't do it in the biggest spot. I get it. But his team is there, and they had to get there. Don't tell me this defense carried them, because this is not the Ravens of 2000. This is not the Buccaneers of 2002. If their defense was so good, they would have put lights out in Kansas City. They didn't put lights out in Kansas City. They held them enough. But in the last, 8 minutes of that football game, guess what quarterback came to play and completed the passes they needed to complete? Obviously, Patrick Mahomes. But I'm not going to discredit Jimmy G because we don't like him.
I got one. Who would you guys take in this scenario? Because I think both quarterbacks are sort of that similar boat. Kirk Cousins or Dak Prescott? They're both stat compilers in the regular season, but both have choked when it comes to the big games.
Kirk, I'm staying away from Cowboys guys as far as possible. Kirk.
This is an honest question because they're both sort of in that same boat. Stat compilers.
I don't want either one. I don't want either one.
But they don't get it done when the clutch is around.
But if I had to pick, I'm probably going with Dak Prescott.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm taking Dak.
Because of the element of the running.
I'm staying away from Cowboys. I'm sorry.
Dak that's not the question, Mitchell. The question was which one of you two?
Time out.
Oh, God. Well, that's what, two seconds in penalty box. Oh, my God. You never follow the rules, Mitch. Follow the rules. You're like that guy in the scary movie who does everything wrong and gets killed. You know what I mean?
Dude, he's always the first guy. The first one.
Hey, let me go down this stairs in this basement here.
Hey, did you hear that noise? What is that?
Let me go check upstairs where there's no exit.
I think he likes it. I think he likes getting put in timeout. He's like, come on, Adam, put me in timeout again.
He's like, it makes me feel young again.
I don't want people to just think it's Mitchell. I'll put anybody in timeout. I'll put AK in timeout if he says something ridiculous. I'll put Jeff in timeout. It's just Mitchell puts his foot in his mouth.
I don't say stupid shit. So you ain't got to worry about that.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Never do.
Okay.
We all say stupid shit. It just depends on when it comes out.
Penalty box.
What does that mean?
See, anyone can go.
Adam, see?
Yep.
I just put myself there too. I you know.
I'm
putting myself there. We're talking about Kirk Cousins. I'm putting myself there. We're talking about Kirk Cousins and Jimmy G. I should be ashamed of myself for talking about these quarterbacks.
You didn't even put an AK there yet.
I can't even believe that y'all had me defending Jimmy G. Shame on y'all.
Shame on me. Shame on Jimmy G. He's better in the Subway and Doublemint commercials. That's what he looks like, a Doublemint ad type of guy. Like,
would you take Jimmy G over Jalen Hurts?
No.
Adam?
Over what? Jalen Hurts?
Yep. Jimmy G or Jalen Hurts right now.
I'm not an Eagles, so yes.
I do too.
Off.
Wow. I do too.
Dude. I will honestly, I will take Hurts over Jimmy G.
Thank you, Unpopular Sports. Finally, someone sees my phone.
Jimmy G over Daniel Jones. How about that?
What? I would too. He has a better resume than Jones. What has Jones done?
I would take Gardner Minshew over Daniel Jones right now. Give me a break.
There's a lot of quarterbacks you take in the NFL over Daniel Jones right now.
Listen, I'm trying to give the guy so much. I'm trying. I'm doing that. But every time I listen to credible guys who evaluate this quarterback, Mitchell, I'm talking. You can't have two people talking at the same time, Mitchell. Penalty. Damn it, Mitchell. Damn it. Now I lost my train of thought. God damn it.
Daniel Jones.
I don't even want to talk about it.
Hey, I got an honest question for you. Would you take Trevor Lawrence or Kirk Cousins?
Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, shoot.
Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence.
All right. That does not speak shit for Kirk Cousins. Let's stop debating this.
Can we talk about good quarterbacks?
Overrated, but
Because the thing is this: if we want to break it down, there's two ways we can break down the quarterback, right? We can break down the player in his stats and what he's done, or we can look at him as a prospect overall and see where they were coming out together. Okay, excuse me. And the entire NFL thought Kirk Cousins was a 4th round pick. Thought Trevor Lawrence was the 1st overall pick. So with that potential alone, that's how I'm basing this decision. I could care less what quarterback, what he's done. I'm looking at it like, look, well, this is what Trevor Lawrence gives me. This is what Kirk Cousins gives me. At the same time in their career, I would be picking Trevor Lawrence over Kirk Cousins any day of the week.
And that speaks volumes right there. That's why I said we no longer need to discuss this.
I got a topic. Well, since we're talking about quarterbacks right now, let's talk about this rookie class of quarterbacks. Which quarterback do you think is in the best situation, and which quarterback has the best chance right now of success in the NFL?
Sam Howell's in the best situation.
I was going to say Hal.
Okay.
What was that for?
Which rookie
Sam Howell's in the
quarterback
best situation.
Yeah, that's whose team is that again? Who drafted
Washington?
Oh no, dude! I'm gonna say it right now. Shit! I lost his name. Shit. The kid from Ole Miss. He went to
Carolina.
Corral. Matt
Corral. Yeah.
Hal.
Yeah, I know they got. Dude, I know they got I know they got God, I'm having a brain fart. Shit.
Baker.
Mayfield. Yeah, I know they got Baker and Darnold. Listen, Corral's a dog, man. He really is. You know, he might actually prove to outplay both of them, and that would look really bad for them then.
Well, no. I mean, that'll look really good because they find their guy. However,
Well, yeah.
the problem here's the thing. This is what makes him good, right? Pickett, well, he's in a great situation as a 1st round pick, so he has more pressure on his failure rate, right? A guy like Matt Corral, he can fail. We don't care. 3rd round pick, keep it moving. But if he somehow rises to the top, it's going to throw the whole system off. So for me, he doesn't have guys in front of him that are great ambassadors of the game. Let's be honest. Baker Mayfield came in and was like, I'm taking your job, Sam. And Sam's like, you can't take my job. It's Matt's job. You know what I mean? Like, he's not dealing with Hall of Famers in front of him.
No.
However, I do believe, like, the reason why I believe Sam Howell's there is because he's a 5th round pick. He don't have to do nothing but fly under the radar. Carson is the guy. Carson Wentz is there to fail. If Sam Howell can develop something, you never know what he could do, right? We don't know what he can do. He's in a situation where he can just sit back, relax, and get paid, and there's no pressure on him. Now, if he comes in and performs and outdoes himself, oh my God, maybe down the road they can get rid of Carson Wentz. You know, I'm playing a little devil's advocate here, but I do like Sam Howell.
What about Malik Willis? Do you think?
I was just about to say Malik Willis.
Yeah, I mean, you think Tannehill still locks that down for this whole year? Or you think he has a shot at getting it?
Yes. I think they'll do what the 49ers did, and they'll kind of put in Malik Willis situations, maybe run an RPO here and there, try to throw the defense off, you know, try to get him to use his legs and get him some game action. They're really going to let Tannehill really fail. Now, at the end of the year next year, will they move on from Tannehill? That'll be a different discussion. But right now, I think Tannehill is going to play the entire year.
I actually like Ritter over there in Atlanta too.
He's in a good situation too. He doesn't got to do shit.
Ritter's going to be a good situation.
Yeah, but that's another one where that's Mariota's to lose, I think.
But my point is,
that competition is more open.
They're going to let Mariota fail. He was with Arthur Smith last year in Tennessee. That's what people forget. He's back with his offensive coordinator that he had the best success with, Mariota. So people forget that Arthur Smith was that guy for him. So to have
he's been thrown to the Twin Towers too with Drake London and Kyle Pitts. If
I'm Desmond Ritter, I'm probably not trying to be that guy because, you know, I rather just learn so there's no pressure. Because you got to understand, a lot of these quarterbacks come in, they can, if they believe that they're 1st round picks or they think that they were really good, they have a chance to really just live their lives. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's no pressure. Pickett's the only one with pressure because he has to come in and perform once that hook comes out. Once that hook comes out, there's no like, hey, you know, there's a grace period for you, or you have growing pains. No, once that hit comes out and he's in, you need to do it, especially for the position that he's in. Sam Howell and Matt Corral, they don't have to worry about nothing because their teams are booty, right? Their teams are both. We don't think Washington's going to do a lot, and Carolina will be lucky if they get out of their own way, So that's why I'm saying, like, Sam Howell's in a good position because he don't have to worry about nothing. Matt Corral, if Baker Mayfield falls flat and Sam Darnold falls flat, boom, you're in the game, kid. No learning, trial by fire.
It's a guarantee.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm calling it right now. Just in advance for shits and giggles. Corral's going to come in week 5.
I actually agree with AK.
Oh.
I do not have faith in either Mayfield or Darnold. I think Corral's going to be starting sooner than later.
Yeah, I say week 5.
I think Ritter's going to be starting sooner than later too.
I think they're all going to be starting at some point. Just Malik Willis will have the longest road because if Tannehill makes the playoffs, you got to ask yourself, well, how can we keep getting rid of this guy for a guy that's unproven? I don't think Vrabel will have the cojones to do what where it's like, all right, well, we made the playoffs. Let's get rid of Jimmy G, put in Trey Lance,
Yeah, I think Carolina comes out, man, and they start out 1-4, and they throw in Corral just to get that spark.
That one better not be against the Giants, though. That's for sure.
Yeah. I just have one question though. Who's Tannehill going to throw the ball?
This is where the string gets out of control.
Traylon Burks. He's got Austin Hooper. He's got Robert Woods. He's got Westbrook
Woods. I forgot Woods.
Yeah, he's got that kid Westbrook Nikita. So,
but their offense is not built on having great receivers. Their offense is built with pound you with Derrick Henry, play action, get your guys out in space.
Yeah, but
Ryan Tannehill.
I forgot who they had.
I keep saying this to people. Ryan Tannehill plays better with Derrick Henry. His stats are he has less interceptions when Henry's on the field. He had 3 interceptions last season with Henry on the field. When Henry left the field in the 9 games he didn't play, he threw 11 interceptions. That's 1 a game.
God dang.
The point is that
the Indianapolis Colts are pretty much the same team. They're both pretty much power running teams and great defense. That's how they're going to win most of their games. It's through that method.
And they're going to try to bludgeon you to death.
That's why I like Matt Ryan for the Colts. I really like Matt
Well, he
Ryan
does well. He's going to do well for that. I think he's the best quarterback they've picked up since they had Andrew Luck. I think Phillip Rivers was good, but a little reckless. I think Carson Wentz, the marriage wasn't what they thought it was going to be. I think they thought he was going to come in there and throw for 4,000 yards and be only at 3,500. So like, well, we'll get that same production with less drama.
Can you imagine if Andrew Luck didn't retire?
I think that's what really hurt that team. I think when Luck retired, that really hurt that Colts franchise because.
Well, dude, the history would be changed right now because if Andrew Luck never would have retired, that means Josh McDaniels would be with Indianapolis right now, which means Frank Wright probably still would have been with the Eagles, and
we could have won another Super Bowl. I would love that.
Everything would be different, The Raiders wouldn't have got Josh McDaniels this year, and then who knows if they would have got Adams, and history would have been completely changed if that would have happened. Who knows?
Somebody else should have taken Ben McAdoo from us in 2016, but of course we ended up bringing in the great Ben McAdoo, and we saw how that ended.
Because we panicked from some dumb from Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman played fucking John Mara like a fiddle, dog.
He did.
Like, yeah, we'll take Ben McAdoo. The Eagles want him. We can't let him go there. Oh, let's sign him now.
It was after 2016. We saw how that ended in 2017. Oh my God!
So who knows what will happen, man?
We ended up with Doug Peterson. We ended up with Ben McAdoo.
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
You had Doug Peterson, a Super Bowl winning quarterback. We had Ben McAdoo to Pat Shurmur to Joe Judge, and then who knows about Brian?
We're still trying to find our quarterback, our coach.
Let's keep it on this subject real fast, man. Let's talk about Dougie P, man, down in Jacksonville. I really like what the guy's done. He didn't do what other head coaches would do, and that would be go to like a team that's already kind of solidified. He went to the worst team possible, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now he can sit there and truly say, if this team starts winning, it's because of me. And I respect that. And in all honesty, man, if anybody can turn Jacksonville around, in my opinion, it's Dougie P. I don't know how y'all feel about that.
It's all going to depend,
agrees
really.
with you.
It's all going to depend on how Trevor Lawrence looks. I mean, Trevor Lawrence looked like an absolute disaster in his rookie season, and Doug Peterson is a very good offensive coach. So he's going to be tasked with trying to turn Trevor Lawrence into the type of quarterback that a lot of experts and a lot of people believe that he could be. So that's going to be his number one task, is trying to get the most out of his number one quarterback last year. And that's what we're all intrigued to see, is what will Trevor Lawrence be in 2022? Is he going to be a quarterback that's going to take a big step going into his second year? Jacksonville might not win a lot, but it's really all going to be about what Doug Peterson is. How is he going to be able to turn his franchise quarterback around? And I think he could. I really believe he can do it, because he's not a slouch like Doug Peterson in terms of being an offensive quarterback. The debate will be, though, is with that Eagles Super Bowl winning team, was that more Doug Peterson's offense or was it more Frank Reich? That's what people are going to debate with that whole situation, because Frank Reich was a very smart offensive mind over there too. I'm not going to discredit either one of them, though. I think they both had a hand in it.
I truly think he tries to Carson Wentz's kid, dude. Like, I think because of how he's built and, his athleticism and stuff, I think he sees a lot of young Carson in him. And he might actually even bring back that old playbook that kind of helped him in 17 a little bit. Try to incorporate that. Like, I don't know what he's got planned, dude, but it's interesting so far.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm curious really what he's going to do with that offense this year. I mean, they have some intriguing pieces on there. I mean, I do like Robinson, the running back that they have. I think Kirk is a solid, probably a number 2. Obviously, we know they overpaid him. I think they have to use Chenault right. I think Chenault is sort of in the mold of like a Deebo Samuel or like, a Cordell Patterson in that type of mold where he could be a dual threat player. I mean, Zay Jones is a solid receiver. I like their offensive line got better. I mean, they did pick up Brandon Sheriff, who's a pretty good offensive guard. So, I mean, their offensive line got better. Travis Etienne is not a bad player, and now he's going to be able to play with his teammate over in Clemson again this year, as long as he remains healthy. They have a nice team over there in Jacksonville, a nice young team. Yep. But it's all going to be about what can Doug Peterson do to get the most out of Trevor Lawrence, because Trevor Lawrence has got to show something this year. He was bad last year in his rookie year, not all his fault, because, I mean, Urban Meyer is a disaster. We all know that. But Trevor Lawrence has got to go out there this year and show that he can be a franchise quarterback, because if he falls on his face again, everybody's going to start saying, number 1 pick, another bust. This kid is nowhere in what we thought he could be. So Trevor Lawrence has got to go out there and show something, and Doug Peterson is going to be the guy that's going to be tasked with getting the most out of this young quarterback out of Clemson.
Now, let me ask you guys this. How many wins do you see the Jaguars having? How many wins?
I don't think they're going to have more than 5 wins. Because I think what Doug Peterson allows them to do is having the show, getting them in the right spots, putting them in the position that they need to be in, right? And guess what? He can control a group of grown men, because he can put his ring finger out and say, "You want one of these? Learn to get behind me. I can get you one," right? As opposed to Urban Meyer, who again is dancing with MILFs at a bar, not caring about he was doing. So, and I think people are under. I don't think the problem with Trevor Lawrence was he got overhyped. He's not like the best quarterback prospect we've seen in the last decade. He's not. What he is he is a good prospect, and I think he's going to make that jump with Doug Peterson's interest. And for Trevor, when Trevor Lawrence lost Urban Meyer, those last couple games, his rating went up, his touchdowns went up, and his yards per game went up. There's a reason probably why he can ascend. Now you give him Doug Peterson in a year in a system, give him some guys he can rely on. I just think we can't underestimate the Doug Peterson effect on the quarterback.
Yeah, no, dude, I said it. I got him around probably 6 to 7 wins this year, just because of Doug and his reputation alone. He is a player's coach. Like, these players will want to play for him. I mean, hell, dude, even our first year, we didn't do half bad. What was our record our first year? 7-8 or 8-8 or something like, or I don't know, 7-9, 8-8. I forget, but we didn't do half bad even for his rookie year as a head coach. So I don't expect them to either. But I've already said it. If he's got 6 or 7 wins this year, they're a playoff team next year. They're going to.
I got the schedule if you guys just want to run it down. I got the first one is the Browns.
I think they could beat the Browns, especially without Deshaun Watson. I think they could beat the Browns.
They could do that.
Steelers.
That's a loss.
That's a loss.
Is it in Pittsburgh or is it in Jacksonville?
It's home.
Still a loss. Pittsburgh's going to beat them.
Week 3 at Atlanta.
That's a win. I think they'll beat Atlanta. They'll be closer, but I think they'll beat Atlanta.
Yeah.
Week 4 at the Commanders.
They can win that.
I think they're going to lose it, but I think it'll be close. But I believe the Commanders will win it at home.
No, I say they win that because Doug's going to want to crack the shit out of Carson. No, I'm just playing.
Oh, wait, that was week 1. Hold on, that was week 1. Week 2 is the Colts. Week 2 is the Colts.
Wait, what?
Wait,
I read the preseason by accident.
Oh, bitch!
Oh, so
Out of backstage. How are you reading the preseason schedule, Mitch? Adam's on mute right now, and he's still sending you
I was
backstage.
time out again.
So what is
Week 1 is the Commanders.
all right? Adam, you go first.
What, their record?
Yeah.
We're going to
I'm
do
going
it.
through the schedule.
Win-loss for
schedule.
Jacksonville.
So
Oh, against I think they'll lose to the Commanders.
I got that to win.
I have a loss, too.
I can
AK,
honestly.
you want to win, right?
Rainier, bro. I'm gonna say he wins that shit.
I agree with AK. I got a win on that one.
What? Okay.
Bro, it's Carson Wentz versus Dougie P. I'm taking Dougie P over Carson.
Dougie B, yeah, he might know everything. He's gonna have those new photos of Carson Wentz. Don't win this game, Carson. Don't win this game.
Week 2 is the Colts. I got a loss.
Oh, Colts are going to kill him.
I
Yeah.
got a loss.
Colts are going to beat him by a
Colts
lot.
need that win. They need that game. They can't give up any games to their opponents.
Yeah.
The division.
Week 3 is at the Chargers.
That's a loss.
That's a loss. It's not looking good so far for Jacksonville to begin the season.
Week 4 at the Eagles.
Loss.
Win.
Win.
Oh,
Win.
oh,
No, not really.
Oh, yeah.
Not really. They're going to lose that game.
Yeah, they'll
Alright.
lose. I'm
Week
sure.
5.
I think they'll put up a good effort, but I think they lose that game.
sure. Yeah, they'll be good, but
Yeah, Week 5 against the Texans.
win.
I think they'll win that one. So they'll be 1-4. I have them.
2.
Okay.
W.
And then they got the Colts again, Week 6.
Oh, loss. 1-5.
Wait. Which one's the home? Which one's away?
Week 6 is away. Week 1 is home.
Yeah, they win that one because the Colts have never beat them at home, so they have.
You know what that is?
So yeah, this one's a loss. Then I'll give that one.
All right.
I'm
Week
still giving
7,
them loss.
the Giants.
That's a win.
That's
So-
a win.
That's a win.
Adam,
That's a win.
I'm thinking about this one.
I'm not going down this road.
Come on, Adam.
I'm trying to think. It's tough. I'm thinking on this one. I don't know.
I think the Giants are gonna win that game. They should win that game at least. But I will be respecting the hell out of Jacksonville. I'm not gonna go into those guys. We're gonna blow them out, man.
I think the Giants will win by a field goal in the end. It'll be close, but I think the
I
Giants
got
will squeak it
Jacksonville
out.
winning that one.
I will give you guys hope, but I still gotta give Jacksonville
Thanks
that
for the
one.
hope. We appreciate
right.
it.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. That hesitation is my decision. I'm not really confident 100% if they're going to win that game.
Neither am I. I'm not either.
The fact that I didn't go win, you know.
All right. Week 8 is home against Denver.
Oh hell, that's a loss.
Yeah, I think Denver's going to beat them.
Well, Week 9 is against the Raiders.
Raiders are going to win.
Raiders
Not
are-
looking good for Mr. Dougie P so far.
Oh,
Week 10.
wow, dude, this schedule is crazy good. What the fuck?
Week 10 at Kansas City.
Oh my god, no.
Why am I like at 1-10 right now?
Why the fuck are they playing all the good teams? I don't understand.
All right. Week 11 is a bye. Week 12 is home against Baltimore.
No.
You know what? You know what?
No.
You know what? I'm gonna have them get a win. This is gonna be that surprise win for them. I feel bad. I'm gonna give them a win in this. Jacksonville's gonna get a surprise win.
All right. Week 13.
All right, Miz.
at
We're
Detroit.
gonna miss having
Miss you,
you around
man.
on streams.
Be safe, buddy.
Get home.
Be
Get
safe,
home
Miz.
safe, man.
Oh,
And we'll see you. We'll see you soon. Your goodbye video in New York. Everybody will miss you. It's a lot quieter now in the tri-state area, though. I can sleep easy knowing that Miz is not going to be knocking on my door in the middle of the night trying to talk Giant football. Although he will be blowing up my phone to talk Giant football. That's for sure.
Yes.
But yeah, getting back to the Jaguars season.
Week 13 is at Detroit.
They can pull that one off, I think.
I'm going to go with Detroit because
I got
they're
Detroit
blind
on
into
this
Dan
one.
Campbell.
I got Detroit here.
I know, dude, but I'm on so many losses right now, I can't even keep track, so I got to throw a win in there.
What's your record for them, AK? I got it like 2-12.
I only find 2 wins out of this.
All right. Week 14 is at Tennessee.
That's
Oh man.
a loss, I think.
Week 15 is at Dallas.
Dude, spirits are crushed. What the fuck kind of schedule is this? Okay, this is
They're
team
gonna
like
beat Dallas. That's a win. They're gonna beat Dallas.
All right. Week 16 is at the Jets.
I'm going with the Jets.
I'm going with the Jets.
I'm going with the Jets.
All right. Week 17 is at Houston.
another win. I'll give them that one.
I'll
And
give
then,
a win
week,
too.
and then the last week is home against Tennessee.
Oh my god.
I'll have them split with Tennessee, so I'm gonna give them a win here. So they go on like a 3 or 4 game winning streak, but it'll be like 5 and 12.
Yo, that is the harshest schedule I've ever heard.
Hey,
Three
Connor, you
weeks
said
in a
5
row,
wins.
they got the
There
AFC
you
West.
go.
3
There's your
weeks in
5.
a row, they got AFC West.
Dude,
5 wins.
how are you the worst team in all these years and you still draw a schedule like that?
The NFL hates Shad Khan.
Right, dude? Oh my god, that is the biggest slap in the face I've ever seen.
Yeah, they got the Commanders, Colts, Chargers,
They play in the
Eagles,
NFC. They play in the AFC West.
Texans,
Good luck.
Colts,
Oh man,
Lions, Broncos.
Yeah.
Growing up.
NYG, we completely agree on everything. It's pretty much damn near all losses.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
after the bye, it's the
Fine, too.
Ravens. It's the
No,
Ravens.
never mind. I can't say 6 or 7 wins anymore. That was way too much.
I got 4.
That's true. Mac's right because the AFC is so brutal this year. That's why the Jags schedule looks just absolutely.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, with Doug Peterson, they'll be able to be in more competent football situations. You don't understand what it means to have a head man that's been through it all, that's done the downs. I mean, he took his team to a freaking
I
Super
would be
Bowl.
shocked if they get
Nick
7 wins.
Nick Foles, Napoleon Dynamite to win a Super Bowl, right? I think that he can have Goldilocks do really well.
No, I agree with you. I do agree, but here's the thing, though, man. I believe in Doug, but when we look at those teams and we look at his team, the talent level is not.
Oh no, I get it. But what I'm saying is, though, when you have a competent coach that can get you in a position for success, you play better.
Yeah. Like they're going to be in games, but there's no way in hell.
Let me say this. Let me say this. You can throw out division records because division games are one of those fluky kind of anomalies where you can beat a team that's better than you because you just know them so much. I mean, I've seen like the Giants who are like 5-11 beat a team that's like the Cowboys that's going to the Super Bowl, or the Eagles and vice versa and things like that. So I can see them sneaking a win out against the Colts, maybe beating the Tennessee the Texans, and who knows, keeping up with the Titans. What going to happen in these games is when you have a guy like that, he can help them grow through the losses and say, "Don't worry, man. The process is going to get better." And then when you see towards the end is when they're going to pull like the Lions and they're really rooting and really fighting hard, and they steal a couple of victories because you never know. We say that now, but what happens if one of these teams gets a catastrophic injury, right?
No, you're right.
That team that was strong. Is not strong anymore. I think that's why I hate the schedule for the NFL more so than like the NBA or baseball, because you don't know who's going to be at full strength because the game is so violent. The guys are taking out left and right on body bags week after week. In the NBA, I can look at the schedule like, if you're a dominant team, that's the win, that's the win, that's the win, that's the win. There's not many upsets per se on a schedule, right? In baseball, kind of the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
You kind of go into the team, but in the NFL, that's why they say any given Sunday because, you know, you're asleep at the wheel or you don't have the right guys playing or, you know, whatever, you're going to lose.
Okay, well, I'll re-clarify. As it sits right now, it's a brutal schedule.
God dang.
I don't need to talk you off that ledge.
Now it's brutal. Sure, it could definitely change. I give you 100%. Oh, that could change for anyone. But right now, as it sits, I would not want to be them.
Right. Well, you know what though? I respect their fan base because they know they're going into a losing situation. They're just trying to find the guys that are. They're trying to find the guys that they're looking for. Go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, not even being rude, but they actually have a fan base. I mean, a lot of their Jacksonville.
Damn.
I'm not even. Jacksonville might be a team that could be not long for.
Jeff, come on. You got to give these guys.
Listen,
somebody's got to give the brutal, honest truth over
listen,
okay?
He's not lying, bro. Because listen, I know. In Jacksonville when the motherfucker.
For that one, Adam.
Yeah, but I truly lost all respect for Jacksonville when the motherfuckers started throwing hot tubs in their fucking stadium. Like, I go to watch football games, not sit in hot tubs. Like, I get it, that's a cool luxury, but what the fuck?
Like,
I'm telling you, they care more about AEW wrestling over there in Jacksonville than they do about their own damn football.
Well, that's where I agree, but I disagree. You don't bring in a coach like that. Doug Peterson's not going to go down to Jacksonville and be like, yeah, you guys can go party. No, he's going to want to come down there with a reputation. If they wanted a clown show, they should have hired Mike Daniels. Then they could have had a great clown show. It would have worked out perfectly. But for me,
is their GM, and he's a clown.
I have to. I don't agree with Trent Baalke, but I agree with. I can't disrespect a guy like Doug Peterson. Like even I hate Mike McCarthy, but I respect what he's done. You know, I respect what he did with Green Bay.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he was a winning coach with his players with the Cowboys. You know, when he's full strength. So I respect what guys like that have done in the league. They have an advantage over certain coaches. I mean, the Texans. The reason why I like the Texans this year is because they have Lovie Smith. I think Lovie's head coach. I don't think he's going to be a great head coach, but I think he can have it's one thing to have guy know how to run the situation. You know, what's going to come across. Brian Dable keeps saying this, and I think it resonates. He goes, coaching is not that hard, but different things come across your desk than normal, right? You know, Kadarius Toney's in the news for whatever reason. This guy blew curfew last night. This guy got caught with hookers, and, you know, we need to cover that story up, right? This guy, you know, did this. There are other things that you need to worry about as a coach that a guy like Peterson and Lovie Smith can handle that a guy that maybe a first-year head coach may not be able to comprehend, right?
Exactly. I mean, I think the main reason why Doug Peterson also went to the
they're like aliens. You know they're out there.
I think he went over there specifically because he saw the talent that Trevor Lawrence had, and obviously when they were interested, he's like, I can go over there and I can fix this kid for the disaster.
Listen, let me ask you this question: would you be happy with Doug Peterson as the New York Giants head coach?
Absolutely, I think Doug Peterson is a good coach.
There you go.
Like, let's be honest, Jacksonville Jaguars. If Doug turns them around, it'll be a miracle because, in all honesty, for Khan, dude, the Jacksonville Jaguars are a fucking tax write-off. He could give two fucking shits what that team does.
Right.
But that might give him. Let's say, oh, hello there, Zion.
Hey, look who's here, Zion. Woo! He's alive.
Let's get it. I don't.
It's 9 a.m. He's gonna roll out of bed, listen to the stream.
Prodigal son returns.
He's on a good one. I'll let you finish, Adam.
Oh, I don't remember what else.
We were talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars being a tax write-off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I just think that if they get rid of the GM, right? Let's just say, and it is a tax write-off. Maybe they bring the GM that works well with Doug Peterson. You know?
Yo, John, you want me to go through the schedule for you?
You interrupted him. Timeout. These fucking kids, man.
Hey, I'm about to be 28.
Let's get it.
Nobody else.
Wait. Is it?
You're punishing me because how young I am?
You know what? Do Jags fans?
I'm
even
punishing you
consider
because you just say dumb shit.
Duval.
I love you.
Mitch, you're turning into Sly.
Yeah, well.
I have to get removed because I have no idea what the hell he's saying. He's talking like he just woke up.
He did.
Duval.
Dude.
You're the only Jacksonville fan out there, and even though you're a Jacksonville fan, you're a Giant fan. Look, Jimmy Max says, "Are you?"
Hey, I'll be right
Are
back.
you awake? Yes, I
After
escaped
one,
the
I'll be right
Matrix.
back.
I unplugged and I'm back into the human world.
Nice to have you back.
Well, welcome.
Yes.
Why
You're
are
up like a normal
you take the red pill?
Yes. I'm
You know, the movie would have been a lot shorter if that happened. Yeah, I just want to go back.
You know what
Would have
happened?
been a lot
It's
shorter.
something.
You're right.
I have been kind of feeling kind of awkward lately because I spent
fuck is
the other
Wheeler?
day watching baseball for 2.5 hours, and I don't watch baseball.
Let's
I don't
go.
watch baseball.
Hello.
I'm just glued to this baseball game, and this guy explaining on this guy pitching, and I'm like, man, this is interesting because he has a fastball, he has a low ball, and he's
I
explaining
don't know who that is.
what he's doing. And then I look at my apps. I'm like, oh, what other games are on? And then this team is getting killed by like 16 points. I'm like, I never seen that in baseball. I'm not a baseball fan, but I have to admit that was actually pretty entertaining.
Wait,
How the hell did we get to baseball?
Right?
I was just talking about me watching baseball for 2 hours the other day, and I'm not a baseball fan.
How the hell did we get to
I've
baseball?
been feeling
What teams were playing?
I don't know. There was like 4.
Randy, all right, there it is. We didn't know who it was for a second there. Randy,
What up?
we didn't know it was you. We thought it was some troll. We thought we were getting trolled there for a second.
Oh no, sorry, I forgot to turn on my mic, and then you were like, "Hello," and I was like, "Oh, say something." And you're like, "Out of here." I'm like, "Okay."
I'm like, well, I guess he's nobody, so we'll keep it rolling. But
So Randy,
You're
I got
rocking
good
that
news.
Toronto Raptors jersey too. The vintage
that's
Toronto
what I'm talking
Raptors.
about. Is that a Damon Stoudemire?
No, it's Vince Carter.
Oh,
Yeah. So, Randy, it
VC
looks
is a good
like,
guy.
Eric might be your
Former
co-host
net.
for UFC this weekend.
Hold on, I can't hear you.
Why are we doing business, man? Come on.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Wait, am I the only one?
What's the records for timeouts in a single stream?
Go fast.
There's a Guinness Book of World Records.
Jacksonville is
You're
actually
getting-
going to do something in the next couple of
I
years.
didn't want to interrupt. So just continue.
No, you're not.
Zion, what, buddy?
It's just like a thing. I get timeout for like 5 seconds.
You're
Watch.
not the only one, Zion. I do think that Jacksonville
I
in the
think
next year or two
Jacksonville
could do
has a
something.
good roster.
Randy's a
Call me
badass.
crazy-
He's bringing smoking back on screen. I love it.
Call me crazy if you want to, but I look at it this way, like not this year for sure, because the AFC is too
That's right,
stacked.
Mac.
But it honestly would not surprise me if it, obviously, if you look at the AFC and the AFC stacked, and just the AFC right alone is going to be killing each other. You got Oakland versus Chargers week 1, okay? Now, if you look at the back half of the AFC, it's going to come down to who's the healthiest team, and it always does. So it wouldn't, if someone told me right now, like, do you see Jacksonville sneaking into the playoffs this year? I'll tell them, you're probably absolutely out of your mind, but I'm not going to be surprised. It's not like this is Doug Peterson's first rodeo, so Jacksonville, I think they're a couple of years.
So you're
off.
going out on a limb right
still
now,
think they should start
and you're
the season,
saying the Jacksonville Jaguars are possibly going to flirt with the playoffs. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, but it wouldn't. I wouldn't be shocked. Like if the Lions made it, I'd be shocked. I think the Lions are a couple years out, but you
think
got
you're flirting with the playoffs.
Do the schedule again.
The AFC could
No.
The AFC could be. I honestly think they're not making the playoffs, so I'm not trying to defend my point.
Damn it, Mitch. I like you. I
But
don't
the
want to
only
keep
reason,
giving you
the
time.
only reason why it wouldn't shock me, Adam, is because what if the AFC's played with injuries towards the end of the year, and the Jaguars roster get young, they're competitive. And if
I'm not disagreeing with you that they'd be competitive, but to flirt with the playoffs is like that's I don't think this year is the year that they're doing that. I think this year you want to see them.
Not at all.
If you're a fan base of them and the Jets, like the Jets a little more so than the Jaguars, even though they're kind of at the same position, but the Jaguars had more rebuilding to do, is you want to see that progression that, hey, we're competent, we're going to be able to compete, we're going to line up in the right formations, we're not going to get a holding call on 3rd and 10, we're not going to lose our, jump off sides when there's critical moments in the game.
Would it shock you if Jacksonville was in at the end of the season? It would, yeah.
I'm not saying it shocks me. It's not going to shock me. I'm laughing at Randy. No, it's not going to shock me that they're going to be a better team. I'm agreeing with you there. However, for me, I'm looking at it like this: Jacksonville is going to have a tough go of it, not because they're not competitive, but just that whole AFC is, a step ahead of them. Even the Jets, I think, are a better team than them now.
Dude, absolutely. And we both agree they're a couple years out. They're a couple years out, but
they got good.
If injuries come down to it, and like the AFC is plagued with injuries because all these good teams are playing good teams, like, I don't know. They're like a dark horse pick because if you think about it, like no one picked the Eagles that season. And Doug Peterson got the job done and then Nick Foles closed. And I'm not saying Jacksonville is clearly a step behind everybody in the damn division. And yes, I'll probably pick the Jets and Zach Wilson over them right now. But if someone was telling me, would you be shocked if Jacksonville made the playoffs? I'll probably tell you no.
Well, if you go with that scenario,
does anybody see a team that's good gonna not make the playoffs this year? Like, do you guys, any of y'all see that scenario?
I love how we're talking football right now. The chat is arguing about the Yankees and the Mets. The chat's arguing about who's better than
This went off. But to answer your question, Randy, I think Tennessee could be that team.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they have a rough go.
Oh, definitely. I think Tennessee's going to be I think Dallas could be another team. I don't love Dallas. I somewhat disagree with your point, MYG. Jets had Becton out pretty much all last year, and they still have one of the almost a top 10 offensive line.
They don't need Becton.
Becton was just the guy. I mean, they all had a pretty solid offensive line without Becton. So I don't think it's going to really hurt the Jets as much, especially if they could bring in a guy like Dwayne Brown on the right side. And they got better with bringing in Laken Tomlinson. So I think
early July, early June, there were talks about the Jets potentially wanting to move Becton as a trade piece. So, I mean, like, if they were already thinking that early on before he got injured, I doubt that would be a big loss to them.
No, I think Becton's who even knows if Becton, when he's going to actually play next, especially coming off that type of injury. I mean, he could be even out sometime during next season, too.
We'll see. We'll see. Well, this is great stuff here, guys. Great stuff here. Zion, great stuff. We're just jerking your chain. That sounds inappropriate. We're just making fun of you.
just a little bit.
So, it's nothing big. We agree that the team. I mean, I love what they did defensively.
George Fan.
They have. Yeah, I mean, he's not bad. I mean, but it's not going to derail their season, NYG 22. I mean, go look at Jet streams and listen to some of what their fan base is saying. They're not necessarily they are better with him, but it's not like they're going to lose without him. They lost without him last year. They can make do this year. I think the Jets, let's talk about the Jets a little bit. I'm intrigued by this team. I really am. I think, people tend to use the Jets and they hate the bias about the team because they are pause. That's funny. The Jets, I think, have a team where I really like Zach Wilson. I think people I don't know what it is about the Jets. I don't know if it's the media hates them. I don't know if it's just overall they hate them, but they get
narrative.
It's the Jets. It's the Jets. That's why. It's just the legacy of the Jets, where they've been an absolute. When you think about a team that you're just waiting.
Yeah, but they've won in their history. They haven't won a Super Bowl. I mean, they won one Super Bowl, but they've been to AFC Championship games. I mean, in 1998 they lost. They lost to the Denver Broncos, eventual Super Bowl winner, right? You just
said that right there in 1998, and then that's like 24 years ago, Adam.
But 2009 and 2010, they went to
that Mark Sanchez. the AFC Championship game also. But like that's
Right.
that's like 1 year in 24 years that you appear in a championship game, and that's why they get that bad rap because the Jets.
It's also because this team has historically, found ways more than any team to lose these crushing games to their franchise. Everything seems to go wrong for the New York Jets. And they're still searching for a franchise quarterback,
Yeah, exactly.
and they haven't had one since Joe Namath. The Jets have been one of the most cursed franchise, and I'm not even trying to be like that person, but this team has been cursed. Like the Jets have had everything bad happen to this franchise, and I actually like them this year. I like the Jets this year.
Yeah, I'll let Adam finish. I think they're like with their head coach in Saleh, I think they're going forward in the right direction.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Is I like where they're a lot of games, but I think Zach Wilson's head and shoulders above where Daniel Jones was at this particular point in the season last year. Because guess what? Daniel Jones is learning a new offense. Zach Wilson is in the second year of the same system. So already that's an advantage for him because now you're kind of in that familiarity. And by the way, people want to laugh. This kid can make every throw in the book. He has more than enough NFL arm. He has more than an NFL arm. And I'll tell you why. If you go back and watch that pro day where he does that 60-yard bomb over the shoulder across the field, that throw wasn't even made in Daniel Jones' pro day. Like that wasn't even was made. And those type of throws, Malik Willis made that same dime type of throw. It shows off the arm strength. Sometimes arm strength is going to win you some games where you can throw the ball a little bit further than people think, right? He's a stocky kid. He's not like the other stocky quarterbacks that have come out and is like a Johnny Manziel or some of these other smaller guys. I like what Zach Wilson can do. I like what he brings to the table. I think he's got the moxie. I think he's got the it factor. I really don't think the Jet fans know what they're getting because this kid, I think, he went to BYU, but he can still play. It wasn't like he was like Sam Darnold at USC where he was throwing picks and fumbles all over the place. But he went to UFC. Let's not worry about it. He actually helped that BYU team to some victories and some wins. So.
I really like Zach. We remember when we did that stream not that long ago where we talked about which second-year quarterback we thought could make the biggest jump, and a decent amount of us actually picked Zach Wilson because we like the moxie of this kid. He's got sort of that bulldog mentality, and also, just the team around him. I've been a proponent of saying that I think that the Jets are going to have one of the best running back duos for the next few years going forward with Breece Hall.
I think so as well.
I think they got a strong running back duo. I have been one of the biggest proponents of Garrett Wilson. I think this kid is going to have a big year for the Jets in terms of a rookie wide receiver. I love Elijah Moore. We talk about Kadarius Toney. Taking a big jump. Elijah Moore in New York is another guy that could do that because he's got the same or similar skill set to Toney. Maybe not as elusive, but I think he's a better route runner right now and a more complete wide receiver in the slot.
I think you have to keep them.
Well, wait, I didn't say in this, man. My second-year quarterback, if I had to choose, man, is going to be Davis Mills. I believe a lot.
Agree.
I believe a lot in Lovie Smith. In fact, Lovie Smith is very underrated, I believe. He can get the best out of his players, man. He's one hell of a head coach. And you saw what this kid did last year. He was phenomenal on a shitty team. And they've only gotten better, and Lovey's only going to make this team get better. So,
and that's a young, hungry defense.
Yeah, dude. So he should have a pretty good second season under Lovey, man.
Oh, I agree with you. I picked Davis Mills last year. I was watching his pro day whenever he had pro day, and I was talking to my friend. People know him, Buko, and we're on the phone. And I go, "Watch this Davis Mills kid. Dude, this guy's got everything that you need. He just." Played at Stanford and was injured. Ho-hum, nothing went about it. All of a sudden, he texted me last year, goes, Adam, good call on Davis.
Goodbye.
What the hell is that?
Who is Alexa was talking to them?
What the heck?
That was not mine.
Removing everybody.
What was I removed? I didn't even do anything.
I think my house is haunted.
It's just funny. Well,
I
then
agree
get off
with
the
Davis
damn
Mills.
stream. I don't need the damn ghost coming through my fucking house through your stream.
You know why I also like Davis Mills? He also has a really strong connection with his number one receiver. I think him and Brandon Cooks have a really good rapport with one another, and they showed that last year. So I agree with Davis Mills. I just think Zach Wilson is going to take the biggest jump because I think he just has that bulldog mentality. Plus, the players around him is just going to get the most out of him too.
Think about this for a second. Tua had 26-53 for 16 touchdowns and 10 interceptions last year. Mills had 26-64 for 16 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Think about that for a second.
Well, I just like Mills because when he came out, he was a 5-star recruit, but he got injured and blew out his knee.
Well,
right?
no, all I'm saying is check out the stats between Tua and Mills, and Tua was getting all that praise, and he's going to be this. And then look at Davis Mills, right behind him, just 11 more yards, but quietly 11 more yards. You know what I mean?
Well, remember, they had a chance to draft Malik Willis, right? Wasn't that the ho-hum of the draft season?
Yes. Yep, absolutely. They were thinking about it.
Well, they slapped us all in the face and said, "Hey, we like our quarterback better than these guys. We might as well just keep this kid going." And I like.
Have a good rest of your day at work,
man. I don't know, man. I like Lovie Smith. I don't necessarily think he's gonna be good, but let's be honest. He brought a Bears team with Rex Grossman to the Super Bowl. Okay, Rex Grossman, people. If you don't know how bad he is, he's like Tim Tebow. Just name is Rex Tebow. Okay, he's terrible. He is terrible. That guy was a terrible quarterback. So bad that the Redskins thought that he was good. They brought him in and realized how bad he was. You know what I'm saying? So
the Redskins pulled another Redskins with another quarterback.
Well, the thing is, I just think what AK said is right. Is Lovie Smith's a lot smarter than we think. He's done a lot. He's done a lot with far less. You know, I know Coach Ed got on me once because he's like, "Well, he didn't do anything with Illinois. I'm not going to do anything with Illinois." Let's be honest. Is anyone really banging down Illinois to go to college there, like play football? Like, hey, man, you don't produce that many NFL players. I'm coming to you. You know what I mean? Like, no.
Yeah.
So
NYG, bro, like, no lie, dude. Don't underestimate that so-called terrible roster. They had a phenomenal draft, dude. Dameon Pierce is going to be a great halfback for Mills. They got some good defensive pieces in this draft. Like, Lovey knows how to build a team, bro. I'm not worried.
Jalen Petrie, watch out for that name.
Yeah,
Watch out, Petrie.
Like
that linebacker they got, Harris, too.
And team that with Cruz Hill, who's been beasting for them last year. Like, dude, they got some young talent on that team. And they could do some damage here soon.
Well, that's why I think the Lovie Smith factor comes in, right? If this was a young team with a young head coach that was coming in, I wouldn't be as excited about Davis Mills as I am now because I know that Lovie Smith is not going to put him in a position to fail. You know, some coaches do that. They're not. That's why I think Doug Peterson is going to do well because he's not going to put the kid in a place to fail. He's been there. He's done that. He's done the Super Bowl. He's know how to build the team, right? He's not going to be there and be like, well, I have to play him because I came in here on this, offensive guru and I got to make sure that this kid does well. No, he's going to be like, all right, this is my quarterback. Let's see what he does well. Let me build a defense and let's go from there. And people need to understand that coaching still matters. Crucial situations are what I'm looking at when I go down the field. Like Dan Campbell, he won some games in some clutch moments. He stepped up to the plate and did that, and his team rallied around him. Right? Do you trust Mike McDaniels or do you trust Lovie Smith when it comes to a critical situation in the game?
Oh, Mike McDaniels. Wow.
Really?
That guy's had a very interesting offseason so far. His press conferences.
Oh no, you're saying that. Okay. I was stunned. No, I'm taking Lovey over McDaniels any day, dude.
Oh yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I don't love that Dolphins team. I don't know how you guys feel, but I don't love the Dolphins because of Tua. I don't love Tua.
Well,
I'm just Dolphins either. Overhyped.
I'm saying in any situation, no. Like I will take.
Tua doesn't have to do much. Just get it to the cheetah, and you're good. 5-yard pass to the cheetah, and then Tua will get credit for a 40-yard pass. It's gonna be real simple.
Yeah, and they got Waddle too.
It's gonna be short, fast passes, and Tua will
Mike
get credit for the gap.
Well, yeah, you do have a lot of quick players on that team. They do have a lot of fast, quick players on that team with Hill, Waddle, Cedric Wilson, Gesicki, Trey Edmonds. They have Sony Michel. They have a lot. They do have a fast team. I agree with that. But that team will go as far as Tua will take them.
Where do you see them finishing in that division?
I have
go
them
over the
second.
Dolphins schedule now.
Do you want me to?
Sure.
Okay.
What?
I have believe it or not, but I have.
Why are we going on schedules?
I have the Buffalo, obviously. I have Buffalo, Miami, Jets. I have Bill Belichick finishing last.
Bill Belichick finishing last. You guys underestimate the power of the dark side.
For the Dolphins, regular season, week 1 is the Patriots home.
You sure this is week 1, right?
You sure this is not preseason?
Yes, I'm on ESPN this time, yes. Then
You didn't go on some jigaboo site that's
no, I'm on ESPN.
Mitch, that's the CFL. That's the CFL schedule, bro. What are you talking about?
Randy, I love you, man.
Week 1, what?
At Baltimore.
At Baltimore. I'm going to give them a loss.
That's a
week
lot.
one?
That defense is disgusting.
Week 1 was New England.
Oh, we didn't even answer week 1 yet.
Backstage.
What the fuck are you doing, dude?
All right, bring me back.
Week 1, New England.
okay. 30 seconds. Now you're back. Okay, Mitchell, can you handle this now? First game of the year.
First game is the Patriots. I said it.
Yeah, well, you got to give us time to fucking answer.
It's going well.
And so it begins. So, I don't even know the team that we're talking about.
Yeah, what team are we talking about?
What's the schedule for the Dolphins, Mitch?
It's
Miami
week 1.
Dolphins schedule. Miami
Week 1,
Dolphins.
New England, man.
Yes.
Week 1, New England, and I'll give them that win.
Put himself backstage. He couldn't take it.
Because I didn't know what team we were doing for a minute. I felt bad for putting it out there. So I had to remove myself.
Okay, Mitch. So week 1 for the Miami Dolphins schedule. Who are they playing in week 1?
Week 1 is New England.
Oh, New England.
In New England or in Miami?
Week is in New England. Week 1 in
Loss.
I'm going to give them a loss. I think New England's going to win.
I'm gonna go
I
and let
have
him
been
say
beating New England week 1, even though Belichick's record is like, I believe in the last season he's like double digits in win opening games.
Yeah.
But I just think that Miami had his number over the past couple of seasons. So I'm gonna give it to Miami.
I'm with Zion, man. I think I have the Pats at last in their division this year. I don't think they've done enough. I'll give it to Miami.
The rest of us have a loss.
I think in week 2 when they play the Ravens, Lamar Jackson kicks their ass.
Yep.
Then they play Buffalo. I think Buffalo kicks their ass. Then they play the Bengals, and I think this when things get interesting. I think they give the Bengals their first loss of the season.
Wait, we haven't gotten that far yet.
I guess we don't need Mitchell now.
Okay, so
no Mitch now?
week 1 is the Patriots. Week 2 is the Ravens.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's a loss.
Loss. Week 3 is Buffalo.
Loss.
All right. Week 4 is Bengals. Thursday night football.
I think they're going to win. I agree with
it's on.
Zion. I think they're going to get a win against Cincinnati.
No, I say since he blows them out.
Oh, I think Cincy wins that too, man.
Okay. Then they
I
go.
got Cincy.
Then they play the Jets.
That's a win.
I have a loss. I think
The
the Jets
what?
going to beat them. I think the Jets
I
going to
have-
beat the Dolphins.
Yeah, I have the Jets beating him too.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
I
have
have
the Jets this year,
right
so
now.
I have to pick the Jets.
Where's the game?
The game is gonna be at the Jets.
Jets.
Okay, I'll give him that win there.
Okay.
Seriously?
Then
So
they're gonna
Pat
play.
Metcalfe.
Yeah.
This is what I have them going though. I have them winning against the Patriots, losing against Baltimore and the Buffalo Bills, winning against Bengals, hyped up on energy, losing against the Jets. Division opponent. Then you got
Who's next?
6, the Minnesota Vikings.
Loss.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Jets is away. The Minnesota Vikings is at home.
Oh,
I have them beating Minnesota. I have a win for the Dolphins.
See, if I did that, I would have been in timeout.
Ask and you shall receive. Okay? I treat everybody the same way, Mitch.
Wait. So what's after week 5, dude? What are the
Minnesota at home.
Minnesota at home.
yeah. So the Vikes.
I have the Dolphins losing. I'm sorry, I've been winning.
Team.
I get.
No,
Man,
I think Xavier Howard has a huge game that game, and he probably picks off Cousins 3 times. I'm going to say Dolphins.
Yeah, I Dolphins, the Vikes, man, because the Dolphins still have a good defense too. So.
Then we got then I was like, then we got like I'm a Dolphins fan. Then they got the Steelers at home.
Ooh.
Oh, that one's gonna be a tough one, bro. Especially with that defense, man.
Could that be a tie? Could that be a tie?
That could be a tie.
No more ties. Get rid of that shit.
It's a tie.
No, listen, man. I think by what is that? 8? What week was that? The Steelers.
That was week 7.
Week 7, man. I think stuff could be clicking for the Steelers offense.
Keep in mind that's gonna be a Sunday Night Football primetime game.
Yeah, I think the offense of the Steelers could be clicking by week 7. I think they could be in a pretty good, decent form. So I'll give that one to Pittsburgh.
That defense is pretty good, man. On Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that defense is good. If that offense just catches any little bit of wind, dude, they could go on a run. So I'll give that one to the Pittsburgh.
Chase Claypool stops worrying about TikTok. I think they'll be fine.
If gets a receiver by then, I like John.
Najee Harris is gonna go over for 100 yards, a couple of touchdowns, and they're gonna get the win.
Bro, yeah, Freiermuth is going to be top notch. I'm not even.
We got the Lions week 8. They play the Lions away, so they go to the Lions, play at Detroit.
This is tough. This is a tough one. I really like
That's gonna be a good game, though.
I got Detroit.
Yeah, I'm going to say Detroit too.
You know what? Yeah. I think Detroit too. I think Detroit's going to get them in Detroit.
Yeah, Dan Campbell's going to make sure they're up for that one.
All right. Then they play the team that everybody expects them to dominate the playoffs this next year. They play the one and only Chicago Bears.
Oh, come on. How can we not pick the Bears? Let's go. I got Bears going to blow them out.
The loss.
I got the Bears.
That's a loss.
Yeah, it's a loss.
Oh yeah, dude. No, definitely. That is such a loss, man. Justin Fields is going to come out and throw like 5 TDs.
And I don't want
if that actually does happen.
I know, right? I'd be like, what?
And then we'll come back here and be like, you know what? Wow.
I don't want to spin any heads here. I don't want to spin any heads, and they still have to vote again because they took it back, but they might play the Deshaun Watson Browns week 10.
I got Browns.
If Watson is there, then I got the Browns winning. If not, that's a flip of the coin because I don't know with Watson. That's the problem. I'm gonna go with the Browns.
The Browns.
Yeah, Browns.
Right? So we got a bye week, and then we just talked about him. We play Lovie Smith's Texans.
I got the Dolphins winning
At home.
I think the Dolphins
I'm going to take the Texans in this one.
I was going to think Texans, but I'm going Dolphins here.
No, I'm going to take the Texans in this one. I think this one they walk in, like you said earlier, confident, and they end up getting taken care of and an eye opener.
If it was in Houston, I would have picked Houston, but I think the fact it's in Miami, I'm going to take the Dolphins.
Oh, it's in Miami. I'm taking Dolphins. Yeah.
No balls.
All right. This is where it gets really tough for the Dolphins. They go on a 3-game stretch away. This is all travel games. They have to play San Francisco, the Chargers, and Buffalo back to back.
Loss.
That's killer row, man.
Don't worry, guys. They get to come back at home and celebrate against the Green Bay Packers.
Wow.
I gotta win.
I like it.
I gotta win for that one.
I got a Tiger. I'm just kidding.
And then they end the season traveling to New England and then coming home to the Jets.
Well, at least they end easy.
They'll probably split one of those 2 games with AFC.
I'm saying
That
the
was-
Jets
That's
are
a
going to
tough
sweep the
answer,
Dolphins.
man.
The Jets are going to sweep the Dolphins.
The
I
Jets
got
are
it. The Jets are
the
going to win.
Dolphins.
It is now
I
getting
agree,
on
Jeff.
to almost 3 hours of the stream. I've got a few things I need to do, so I need to sign off. But I love that all you guys came on to help
Thank you.
get this show
Sure.
going or being a part of it. Thanks to AK for just saying, "Hey, are you bored?" I said, "Yep, let's go," and we ran with it. So you guys were the reason. You gave great topics. We didn't stick with just one team. We moved across the NFL, and that's what this is. This hurry up and this is about is football talk. Letting your voice be out there, giving everyone a platform, joking around, putting people in timeout, just having fun, right? So I want to just thank you guys immensely for helping me out and getting this thing going. But it is around that time where I've got to sign off. So if you would please go around the panel, starting with Mitch. Don't get in timeout. Tell the audience where they can find you.
All right. So you can find me on YouTube at Mitch Topsy, and Twitter Mitch Topsy, Hardcore Sports YouTube, and Painted Lines YouTube, where I'm there every single Thursday doing the Sixers round bound talk around.
Oh, yeah, you can find me at Zion Zenith on YouTube. Excited to see the games today. You got the Baltimore Ravens going against Tennessee Titans, and of course the New York Giants versus the Patriots. Exciting to watch the preseason. Let's get it.
All right, Randy.
You know what to do. Make sure you hit Adam Costa, AK Eagles, Jeff NYG, Zion Zen, and Mitch Koski. Y'all know what it is. Hit them up. Y'all know what's good.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Jeff.
Just thank everybody for coming to the chat and showing your support for Adam Costas and the Hurry Up. Thank you all of all these great content creators we got up here. We couldn't do this stuff without you guys. So thank you very much and have a great rest of your day.
AK?
Yes, sir. You know what it is. AK from the AK Eagles podcast on the road to 1K. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe. Got a lot going on, man. Tonight, 9:15 p.m. Got Prime coming on from 4th and John. Friday, we got King DV coming on from JC Eagles Talk and King DV show. And just got a lot going on, man. So definitely stay tuned and hit that notification bell. Appreciate it.
And everyone, you can find me on the Hurry Up Live with Jeff T, my new co-host. I do a stand-up with the same name that gives you updates on Giants and sports that related, not to mention premium takes with Giants and NYG Jeffy T and my man Mac, the Giant fan. You can also find me doing NFC East Roundup every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. We go over everything NFC East. Look out for that. It should be fire. This is the NFL. We do this for you guys. And thank you so much for listening. I'm out.
Great rest of your day, everyone.
Peace.